Darling Stadium on Friday, October the 26th, 2012. It's Friday Night Football on LSC, your local sports station. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Rowe along with Frank Edgar. And to my left, Brett Musgrove. And on the field, we've got Bob Hintz for tonight's game. Hampton High School and Kecoughtan High School, an old rivalry going back many, many, many years. But right now, these two teams seem to be going in a little bit different directions. Hampton, of course, has had a really great few shutouts, if I might say. Kecoughtan, on the other end, is not quite doing what they thought they were going to do at this point in the season. Frank, two teams kind of going in different directions.
Well, I think the good news, Paul, is that while the Crabbers are headed towards the playoff on a roll here, they've won 5 straight, including 4 shutouts, outscoring their opponents. I think I calculated 249 to 20 over the last 5 games.
Wow.
So the Crabbers headed back to where they usually are, which is a position in the Division V state playoffs. Kecoughtan, I think, thought they had a little bit of ways to go, but they got out to a good start this year, 4-1 start, and then they've lost 3 straight, and that's put them at 4-4 and probably out of the playoffs. It would take quite a miracle for them to get in now in the Division VI side.
Well, talking about Hampton and the fact that they're doing so well right now, this game, does it mean something to them tonight? What is the meaning of this game? What's the value for Hampton tonight?
Well, I think at a minimum, it's a tune-up for next week's Thursday night matchup with Phoebus. I think it's a chance for Mike Smith to see a few new players. He's got a slightly different starting lineup tonight. We're going to see Roscoe Hale at the tailback position tonight behind the fullback Marshawn Williams, who's one of the top rushers in the district. Williams relegated the fullback spot tonight, but I'm sure we'll see him carry the ball plenty. So I think it's a little bit of a tune-up for the Crabbers, a chance to see some new guys play, and a chance to get ready. I mean, I'm sure Mike Smith's got a few things up his sleeve. We may see a few of those tonight. So I know he doesn't want to look past Kecoughtan, but I don't think you can help but do that some. And the fact that he's brought up the JV players, as you mentioned or alluded to, tells us that he's preparing for the playoffs and wants to get a lot of people some time in and also give some rest to his starters. But I don't think he's going to look past this, like you said. This is a game he wants to win. And this is Hampton-Kecoughtan. It's always been a good rivalry. Now, Crabbers have won 13 games in a row against these Warriors, but there was a time when the Warriors were much more competitive, and I think they're on their way back to that plateau. For the Warriors tonight, this is a chance to test themselves against the number 2 team in the district, one of the best teams every year. And I know Coach Coley over at Kecoughtan has got his guys ready to go tonight. We should see a good ball game out of Kecoughtan. We're going to see that new quarterback, Desmond Savage, and we're excited to see him. He's getting his 3rd start tonight, and he looked good in warm-ups. So let's see what he can do against this Crabber defense, which has been terrific. Yeah, it's been one of the top defenses in the Peninsula District. In fact, you were telling me before our air time today, it's one of the top defenses in the state of Virginia. Only 2 teams in the entire Commonwealth have held opponents to fewer than the 50 points the Crabbers have held their opponents to this year. And those 4 shutouts in the past 4 games kind of helped on that. They had a pretty good run for the Crabbers. Yeah, and I too like that young quarterback for Kecoughtan, a freshman. And you had some stats earlier on his passing, 20 for 29 or something like that in his last few games. That's pretty daggone good for a freshman, and he's had no picks. Right, 27 out of 51, 351 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's 13 yards of completion, which is pretty good for the young man, and 50% completion rate, which is even better, I think, at this age with the Kecoughtan system that all these players are just now really getting into this year. Coach Coley bringing his new system in. I think he mentioned earlier to us that for some of these players, he's their 3rd head coach. So the system has changed a couple of times over the life of these young men. I think they've enjoyed playing with Coach Coley. I know he wants to pull out of this nosedive and finish this season strong. And tonight may or may not be the night that they do that. Like I said, they're coming up against a very, very strong Crabber team tonight that is looking toward next week when they play the Phoebus Phantoms and looking forward to the playoffs once again this year. Peninsula District has just been really fantastic when it comes to teams making the playoffs year after year after year. So we're looking for another good game tonight because Kecoughtan wants to stop that momentum that Hampton has. And like you said, Coley would just love to beat Hampton. If nothing else, he would love to beat Hampton and know that he spoiled a little bit of that luster on next week's game. And I think that's good impetus for the team tonight to play well against this Hampton Crabber team.
Agreed. I think it's going to be a good one. This is for bragging rights in the city of Hampton. So let's see.
It is that.
I think we'll see a good ball game.
All right, well, let's go down on the field right now and look at an interview with one of the coaches from one of the teams.
Thanks, guys. I've got Coach Coley here at Kecoughtan High School football coach. And, Coach, it's been a rough year, but you've had some positives out of this year.
Absolutely. Kids are really showing well. We had some ups and downs, but overall, I'm pleased.
You know, it's always tough when you come in, you got a new system and everything. It's got to be tough on the kids, but do you feel like they've really grasping what you want them to do?
I have some of these kids, I'm their third head coach in their high school career, so it's kind of tough for them.
Right. All right, we want to talk a little bit about your coaching staff tonight, Coach, because I know they're behind the scenes, and you're the first one that will tell me that, you know, what goes on, they have a lot of input.
Yeah, my coach staff is a real experienced staff. We have Dan Thompson, who's not with us right now. He's in the hospital. He's a little sick, so all prayers with him as well. Corey Thomas was been on staff at Kecoughtan for a long time.
Right.
And Greg Narver came over with me from Phoebus. So I got a good staff. And also got Artie Williams, who's a quarterback coach, a longtime college coach, came down and helped me out too.
So, you know, it's always good to have some guys that's got some experience. And with Narva, you've known him for a long time over there at Phoebus. But you also got a great weight program going on.
Yeah, Coach Thomas does a real good job getting the guys strong. We'll have one more year to get those guys ready to go, and I'm sure next year we'll be ready.
All right, let's talk about a young man that plays offensive guard, defensive tackle. He's out there all the time, and we're talking Shamir Jackson.
So Samir Sargent's done a real good job.
Sargent.
Yeah, Samir Sargent. He's done a real good job. He's a real strong kid, real good academic kid. So we're looking for good things for him in the future at the college level.
Right. You know, you're playing a team that's number 2 in the district and always tough. If you want to beat Hampton, they say you got to get them in the beginning of the year. So you're looking at a team that's, you know, probably has got all their kinks worked out. What do you expect from them tonight, Coach?
Real talented squad. You know, the running back Williams runs real hard. Quarterback Newsom's a great athlete. So it's gonna be a fight.
Well, you know, you look at the Newsom kid, and his dad played there, and his dad's one of the coaches. So, you know, he's got a lot of good talent because through the gene pool. But, you know, they've got other kids besides him, and you got to have kids that kick the ball and open up holes like you have for your young man, Trent Cannon.
Yeah, but they really do. On the outside, their receiving core is really good, strong. They're the linebackers with the Wilson's young man. He's a good player as well, too.
One last question, Coach. We'll talk a little bit about your freshman quarterback. And he's not the only freshman quarterback, but it seems like we have a lot of them this year. But you got to be real pleased with his growth.
Oh, Desmond's a great kid. He works really hard. He's come along. He's really got the system down. I'm impressed every day by that kid. He's done great.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back up to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. And that was Bob Hintz along with the coach from the Kecoughtan Warriors, Coach Cooley. And we were just talking about Coach Cooley a few minutes ago. He's done a pretty good job at Kecoughtan so far. He's having a tough Coley. I'm sorry, pronounced the name wrong, ladies and gentlemen. It's Coley. He's done a pretty good job at Kecoughtan this year, but as you mentioned, he's a third coach in 3 years. He's trying to solidify an organization that has some great talent. What's your gut feeling on this guy so far?
I think he's done a great job so far. You got to realize that they're 4-4. They got 2 games left. One against the Hampton Crabbers, one against the Minchville Monarchs. They would be favored in the game against Minchville, so tonight's a big game for him. He can finish 5-5, or he can finish 6-4, which sounds a lot better, and may put him in a spot for one of these miracle playoff spots. Division 6 is mighty tough, and Kecoughtan being the largest schools in Division 6, so it will be tough. But a 6-4 record in his first year, pretty good in the Peninsula District.
It really is. Now, comparing, and I hate to compare things, but you look at Bethel with the new coach and the system he's put in, completely different system. Has Coach Coley done the same thing? Is it a different system? Is it the same system?
I don't notice that much of a different system because I thought Scott Woodleaf had a nice system last year. In his couple of years at Kecoughtan, he installed a new system and had some new enthusiasm. I've seen just a little grittiness from Kecoughtan this year that I haven't seen in a while. It's nice to see that again. I recall the Saturday afternoon we spent at Norfolk State in the 90s when Kecoughtan played in the Division 6 state title game after Hampton had won the Division 5 in the game right before. I also like what the coach has done. He's got the freshman quarterback, but he's got him matched up with Trent Cannon, who's the number 2 rusher in the district. So he's got help in the backfield. And then the receiver, we haven't talked about Lawrence Williams. Williams in the top 6 of the receiving corps in the district. He's caught 13 balls, 18.7 yards per catch. So Savage has a target out there, a senior receiver. He's got one of the best running backs in the past couple of years in the Peninsula District. So Coley set up his quarterback with some pretty good help.
He really has, and so it's just a matter of the guys buying into this system, if you want to call it that, and believing in themselves and understanding they can do well. They just got to put the effort in there and go with it. And I think they'll do fine in the next few years. I think it's a great system. I think they got some wonderful talent up there, and I really like this Cannon kid too. We've talked about him a lot, and he is just an exciting runner to watch, especially if he can get around the corner on the edge.
Well, I've been surprised. I think I was telling somebody today, I described him last year as a hat rack with a helmet because he's a very slight young man, but he's been able to stay injury-free, and he's very quick in the corners and cuts well, gets up in behind his linemen, and again, Cannon with 1,211 yards so far this year. Quite a year for the young man.
Really is. And it speaks well for the offensive line as well for the Kecoughtan Warriors. Very talented group of young men up there.
It should be a good matchup on the lines tonight. They're going to face Dante Wilson, a linebacker for the Crabbers, who just is everywhere. Plus, the Crabbers with their strong line of Troy Garrett, Jomel Red, Trey Presley. There's going to see some strong linemen tonight against them. So it's a good test for the Warriors.
It really is. And speaking about that Hampton defense, I mean, 4 straight shutouts. How do you stop those guys? How do you get past them?
I don't know. As I said, we were very impressed with Dante Wilson early on and remain so. But the lineman in front of him, now he's been moved back to the linebacker spot, but you'll see him line up as a lineman often in the defense for the Crabbers. They work well as a team, and they're able to cut down the running backs for the other teams. And 249 to 20 points in the last 4 games. Or last 5 games. What a run for the Crabbers.
That's an amazing run when you stop and think about it. I'll tell you what, that's a good defense for that team, and that's something they've always been. All right, we're here at Darling Stadium, a beautiful night on Friday, October the 26th, 2012. A little bit overcast as the game started, or as we came out here today. Of course, we have the little warning of a little bit of a, what do we call this, tropical storm headed this way.
The Frankenstorm is what the Weather Service called it, in the official government term, Frankenstorm. I think I saw the press release where they actually had to explain where that came from. They even mentioned the book by Shelley to explain where that comes from.
All right, well, now at this time, we're going to go down on the field where we're going to talk to, we're not going to talk to him, but Brent Musgrove is going to talk to Coach Mike Smith of the Hampton Crabbers. Brent.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with head coach Mike Smith. 42nd year coach. You're like the legend around here. You've been longer than anybody in the state, I believe. Kecoughtan tonight, the oldest inter-city rivalry we've got so far. I think that's going to be it. Before I get into that, I want to ask you about a couple of players. I want to ask you about your senior safety, Devon Moore, I believe it is.
Daquan?
Yes, sir.
So he's a good football player. He's a 3-year starter. Plays tight end for us also. Good kid. Already committed to ODU, and he's had a good year. Had one little breakdown. The airplane started flying. He's scared of airplanes. I didn't realize that till the official told us one night. So we call him Kamikaze Man now. So he's a great kid.
And a new kid I'm not familiar with. I'm sure you know him all, but this new young man you've got running at tailback tonight, Hale, what's the story with him?
Well, he's been around. He played JV for us and wandered the halls and walked around and changed his way of life this year. He's been a good citizen, and so Roscoe's very quick, not very big, but he's very fast, and he's a good football player. And he had a good game the other night, so we may let him carry it a couple times tonight.
What class is he in, Coach? What year?
He's senior. He played JV, and he's been out there with us a couple of years. But as I said, Roscoe had to undergo some metamorphosis, and he's changed. He's a good kid. I like Roscoe.
Well, Coach, I got a chance to come over your practice this week, and I was thinking about the Kecoughtan rivalry since my wife went to Kecoughtan. to get into that a little bit, they got a couple of good players over there you really have to watch. Tell us, as your last question, give me a little summary of what you see as a coach looking at the team you're going to play when you see Kecoughtan with this new kid, Savage, and Cannon, their running back.
Well, I guess Savage is the quarterback. I'm not sure. I don't know his name, but I do know his grandmother. Betty Davis was the secretary for guidance for years until she retired. I saw in the grocery store. Didn't realize it was her grandson, she told me the other night. He brings a different dimension to the team. He's throws the ball well. He's an intelligent kid, ninth grader, and the Cannon kid's an excellent back. I mean, he's fast, he's tough, and runs hard.
Well, you've had all that kind of talent on your team many times, and you've got a lot of talent now. Getting ready for the playoffs. Got Phoebus next week, so I'm assuming you're fine-tuning now as we're getting into this game.
I don't even know. I guess we play Phoebus next week, but I know we play Kecoughtan tonight. That's the only thing that's been on our mind. The only two things been on my mind this past week is Kecoughtan and the fact that next weekend my daughter's getting married. So
I don't want that check. Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming over to talk to us. Good luck tonight.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, guys, back up to you. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much, Brent. So Lee Taylor is getting married.
To a lucky, lucky man.
Oh, yes, yes. I've known Lee Taylor since she was knee-high to a grasshopper, and just a wonderful young lady. Of course, wonderful family, too. So, Mike Smith, ready for tonight's game. You heard him say it. He's we're playing Kecoughtan tonight, and I think we're playing Phoebus next week is what he said, I think. Yeah, he knows they're playing Phoebus next week, but he's not discounting this Kecoughtan team tonight. Now, Frank, he's talked about a lot of good young players tonight, and he made some changes, and he talked about those. But he talked about guys like Daquan Moore, guys like Dante Wilson. These are players that are the mainstays of this team.
Well, Daquan Moore is one of my favorite guys to watch play football and play basketball. Moore is a state champion, member of the team last year.
Right.
Had some very key baskets, and Moore is not a gifted basketball player. He's a hustler. He's a hard-charging guy. He gives everything he can to Walter Brower's Crabbers, and he was a key part of their team going to the state championship and winning that last year. On football, he's put on the number 1 jersey, and you know whose jersey the number 1 jersey is. It's Ronald Curry's number, and to wear that, there's a lot of pressure. And he came on as a freshman 3 years ago, put that jersey on, stepped back in that safety spot, and has done a great job for the Crabbers over the last few years. He also plays receiver. You heard him mention he plays tight end. Moore is a terrific receiver. Just like he is in basketball, he's always where he needs to be on a football field. And I think if you watch him, if you folks at home want to just watch number 1 on offense and watch him come in and see what he does on his routes, he's always where he needs to be. And if there's a big pass that's needed by the Crabbers, they look to Moore first. So you're going to see a good young man tonight, and I'm so pleased to hear he's going to Old Dominion. They got a good one, a hustler.
That puts him a little close to where we can see him when we need to, right?
And I love to go over there and watch that great program. Yeah. Bobby Wilder's done a whale of a job with those Monarchs, and with a guy, another 7'5", All-Star in Daquan Moore, he's got another good one.
He does that. I'll tell you what, a lot of good players here. That's one of the things about the 757 area, Peninsula District in particular, is all of the great ball players that come out of the teams that we have here, not just in Hampton alone, but in Newport News as well. Of course, I'm biased. I think we have the greatest football around, and I love watching teams, and I love it when we get to the playoffs, and it looks like we're going to have about 3 teams from Hampton going to the playoffs this year. And one of them is right here, and that's the team that's in black and red today, the Hampton Crabbers. And ladies and gentlemen, just as a side note here, I do want to let you know one thing, and we're going to apologize right up front here. If we get some names wrong tonight for the Hampton Crabbers, we do apologize. From where we sit in our booth, the red numbers against the black jerseys are very difficult for us to see, even though we do have a monitor here in the booth. We will do our best to make sure that we identify these players as best we can, but it is a little difficult because of the contrast or the non-contrast of the 2 colors, red and black, on these Hampton jerseys. So we apologize for that at the beginning, and I'm going to blame it all on Frank if we get the numbers wrong. So
as the guy that's wearing his reading glasses in his hand and with his contacts in, wearing 2 pairs trying to see out there. This reminds me of the night where the Crabbers wore the black with the red numbers, and Phoebus wore the white on white. The white numbers on white. That was a heck of a game and challenge. My John Kaufman, I'll give a shout out to him. I had to go see him the next week and be sure it wasn't me.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this time let's go down to Bob and Brent for a wrap-up on the field for the beginning of tonight's game.
Thanks, guys. Bob, here we are going into week 9. A famous game. You and Tim Cole did this game so long. You're the only people out here older than this game. Kecoughtan Hampton tonight. Could be very interesting. We got a Mike Smith seasoned coach that's been around older than the coach, I think, for the other team. Bringing an experienced team here on a real uprising. They've had 4 shutouts. Talk a little bit about Kecoughtan, what they're facing tonight.
Well, Kecoughtan's facing a team that's just, they have gelled, and they've got everybody on the same page. They're doing what the coach wants them to do. And if you remember back in history, Kecoughtan would beat them or Heritage would beat them, but they played them at the beginning of the season. And I said that to the coach, and he just smiled. He said, oh, yeah, but you don't get them at the end of the season. So he knows it's going to be tough tonight. And you got kids like Newsom and Williams, and these guys are athletes.
Hampton's got some real athletes, and their experience is showing. They start a lot of seniors, but you can't take anything away from. I'm really tickled to see this 9th grader for Kecoughtan, Savage. I think the paper said he was like 20 for 29, and this is only his second full game. He won
Right.
quarter in 2 games. So,
well, and no interceptions, which is another good thing. But Kecoughtan, he'd love to have Trent Cannon back one more year with the Savage kid. But Trent Cannon is a young man that I love because when you kick the ball off to him, whether it's kicking or you're punting to him, he gets the ball and he puts it in 3rd gear, and he's not looking. I mean, he's running and he'll cut from the run, and that's why he is so dangerous, and that's why you don't want to kick the ball to him.
I think, like what you said when they were playing Bethel, the smart thing the coach could have done was just kick the ball in the stands.
Yes.
Yeah, don't leave it on the field. The kid, somebody was going to return it.
Right.
Well, this is an old traditional rivalry, and of course, in my family, it's the same way. My wife went to Kecoughtan, I went to Hampton, and we always talk about this game. When I was getting ready for it today, she brought it up. I just can't think of any. I always love these games when we come to them. And tonight, I'm hoping Kecoughtan really makes it a game because they got a new coach, new system, young team, and a little bit of talent.
Right.
And I'm hoping they can really make this a game. So I'm going to leave that, and you take it where you want to go.
Well, they're going to have to make 0 mistakes, 0 turnovers, not have many penalties. Keep the ball away from Hampton's offense if they're going to make it a game. I just think it's going to be a hard thing to do. Hampton is just so strong across the board, offense and defense, and you and I were talking, they've shut out the last 4 opponents. They want to shut out this opponent, and they just want to have a great feeling going into next week when they play Phoebus.
Mike didn't want to talk about that.
No, I know he didn't. All right, well, that wraps it up. Stay tuned for tonight's corporate sponsors.
Today's game is sponsored by the Grey Goose Restaurant, located on West Queensway in Hampton. Enjoy a wide selection of breakfast and lunch dishes, sure to please your appetite. Follow the Grey Goose Restaurant on Facebook, the restaurant that is also a bakery. Smith Brothers Funeral Home of Hampton is located in Phoebus, has been serving the community since 1862. Smith Brothers are here to serve your needs. The funeral director is Andrew T. Smith, Jr. Tidewater Team Sports, located at 11839B Cannon Boulevard in Oyster Point, Newport News. Tidewater Team Sports is your one-stop sports headquarters for screen printing, embroidery, uniforms, and apparel. Call 594-0411 and talk to David Chubb or Terry McNamara. Today's game is sponsored in part by the attorneys at Kaufman and Knowles, with offices in Hampton on Cunningham Drive across from Peninsula Town Center and in Newport News at City Center. Kaufman and Knowles. We can and we will. Beach Hardware, located at 1951 East Pembroke Avenue in the Buck Row Shopping Center. Beach Hardware is your friendly local hardware store with everything you need to maintain your home inside and out. Eric Thompson Realtor. Contact Eric to buy or sell a home or property. Give Eric a call at 685-3172 or email him at eric@findhrhomes.com.
Kecoughtan decline, it looks like.
And here we are, and they've just had the coin toss here. Kecoughtan won, they declined. Then Hampton will receive, and Kecoughtan will defend. The east goal will be to your right, and Hampton will move from left to right on your screen as we start tonight's game here on Friday, October the 26th, 2012 at Darling Stadium. You're listening to LSC, Cox Channel 48, and Verizon Fios Channel 23. And here are the lineups for tonight's game.
For the Crabbers on the line, Jamonte Spriggs gets a start at left tackle, Arrington Bazemore at guard, Dante Wilson the center, Jeffrey Speller the right guard, and Troy Garrett over in the right tackle spot. The tight end Daquan Moore, wide receiver Trevor Arnaud, and the split end is Umar Muhammad Wyatt. At quarterback, Dion Newsome, the fullback Marshawn Williams, and the tailback Roscoe Hale gets the call tonight.
And that's the Hampton offense that will be going up against the Kecoughtan Warriors tonight. And here is their defense.
On the line for defense, Jermaine Schultz at an end, Martin Massolina at a tackle, Samir Sargent, we talked about him earlier at the other tackle, and Brian Lipscomb at the far end. The linebackers, Thomas Kofi, Kaishawn Morgan, and Dejan Hogan. At the corners, Corbin Baxter and Dominic Gilliam. The safety, Zacharelli James and Kayshawn Lynch.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, if we get these names wrong, we do apologize. We do the best we can with what we have, and sometimes we just don't have our tongues and our lips and our teeth moving together like they should. Right now, lining it up for the Kecoughtan Warriors to kick off is going to be number 81, Doug Alejandro, or 87, we're not sure which.
I think it's Alejandro. Oh.
And there's a kick along the ground. That was going to be fielded at about the 27-yard line by number 1. That looks like Daquan Moore. He's going to get pushed back toward the near side and brought down at about the 32-yard line. And that's where Hampton will take over 1st and 10 as we begin this game here at Darling Stadium.
Maybe we'll get a first look at Marshawn Williams in the fullback spot and Roscoe Hale at tailback behind Dion Newsome.
Well, I'm going to have to stretch these eyes as much as I can to see what we've got in the backfield here. There you get a look at the numbers. You can see them a little bit easier right here. That was number 5, Dion Newsome, the quarterback, coming onto the field. You saw number 7, Trevor Arnaud, the wide receiver.
I'll tell you that Hale he's not the tallest guy on the field, but he's supposedly the quickest. So let's watch him in the tailback spot.
Newsome under quarterback out of the I formation. He gives it to nobody. He goes back to pass, slips, has a man open in the middle of the field, and just overthrows. It looked like number 7, Trevor Arnaud. You could see the quarterback, Newsome, get back when he went to plant his foot, slip, still had a good throw down the field.
I think it was Moore down the middle. Let's pick him up here. Daquan Moore going down the middle, I believe. Let's take a look. He stopped in the middle of his route there. I think he didn't expect that and stopped and started up again. That was a good pass by Newsome.
And you are right. That was number 1, Daquan Moore. As I told you, a little hard for me to see from up here, and I apologize. There you have Dion Newsome once again under center. The I formation for the Crabbers moving left to right. 2nd down and 10. The flip goes to the outside. He's got an opening. He gets it past the 40-yard line down to the 42. About a 7-yard, 6-yard pickup.
That's Roscoe Hale, first carry for him tonight. And he mighty quick through that hole.
He really was. There was an opening there, but he got a burst of speed, which was really nice.
Nice block of the left tackle. You see him just open up a hole you and I could have run through on that one. That was a nice play by the left side of the Crabber line.
You could have run out of limp, but yeah. Same ideas. We see the Crabber sideline right there. Once again, Newsome at quarterback from the I formation. One end split this side to the near. The flip goes to Hale again. He's got a big hole on the right side this time. He gets loose. He's past the 50 to the 40. There's nobody in front of him. He's going to go all the way. Nobody's going to stop him down the sideline as he takes it into the end zone.
Nice 60-yard run by the new tailback for the Crabbers, Roscoe Hale. Nice start for the young man.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here I am. My name is Roscoe Hale. 60 yards to the house for 6 points.
Well, the understated Mike Smith again on how good this young man is. Got it through a couple tackles right there, and then he was off to the races. And he really outruns a very quick defender right there and able to hit without being touched.
And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. I call him Bolo. Bo Lomax for the extra point. It's down. The kick is up. It's way up, and it is good. So the score, 7-0 on a 60-yard touchdown by number 31, Roscoe Hale. And the Crabbers take a quick 7-0 lead here at Darling Stadium.
Bo Lomax adds to his district leading kicking scoring there with the extra point.
You know,
it looks like got a penalty out there, Paul. Got a hold.
A personal foul on the extra point attempt. Point's good. Penalty will be attached to the kickoff.
Well, Kecoughtan has hurt themselves here. They're going to be deeper in the hole on the kickoff. Lomax going to get kickoff 15 yards in front of where he would normally.
Yeah, and he's got a very good leg. And I was fortunate at Jones to be able to have taught this young man, and he's just got one of the nicest, pleasantest personalities you'd ever want to meet. I used to joke with him quite a lot, and it's really nice to see that young man out here doing so well.
Well, send out regards to his father. Lost his stepfather earlier this week. I know Chip's not here. Hope he's watching us on the internet tonight.
All right, we've got just a little bit of confusion here. It might have been where we have a spotter that says it might have been number 42 that had that 60-yard touchdown rather than Hale. Might have been number 42. We'll see if we can get somebody down in the truck to verify that for us, and we'll apologize if it is. The young man who saw this has a little bit better eyesight than I do, so he's probably right. So if we mistook that, we apologize. All right, the truck is saying that was number 42. That was Marshawn Williams with the 60-yard run. So, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize. Again, my eyesight on these numbers, not real good.
But when you come in tonight, we heard
that on the kickoff. Penalty administered.
And Mike Smith was going to try some new guys in new spots tonight. So looks like the Crabbers going to kick again here after an offside penalty. So we've gone up with the personal foul and back with the offside penalty.
All right, we still have a little bit more. Daily Press is saying that it was number 31, Roscoe, and the truck is saying it was number 42, Marshawn Williams. And the replay is very clear in the truck. Number 42, Marshawn Williams, was the carrier. According to the truck.
We'll look at it again.
Marshawn. Bolo with the kickoff, driving it down to about the 2-yard line, where it's taken by the Warriors, number 5, with an open hole on the outside, and he's past the 30 and tripped up at the 35-yard line, and that's the Warriors' Lawrence Williams.
That's the big receiver that we talked about earlier. Here comes the Kecoughtan Warrior offense. The line for Kecoughtan, Robert Godwin and Caleb Vankinscott are the tackles. The guards, Samir Sargent and Chris Pauling, and the center, Malik Harrison. Wide receiver Corbin Baxter, and on the other side, Lawrence Williams. We just saw him. Jermaine Schultz at tight end. Quarterback Desmond Savage, his tailback Trenton Cannon, and the fullback Thomas Coffey.
And Savage leads the Warriors to the line of scrimmage. In the I formation, he's back to pass. Nobody is really open, but he fires it underneath. Finds his receiver, number 5, Lawrence Williams, who drops the ball when it was right in his arms.
Would have been a wonderful catch if he made it, and he just not able to hang on. We're going to go with the Crabber defense. Arrington Bazemall, Troy Garrett, Trey Presley, and Jomel Red up front for the Crabbers. And linebacker Deion Newsom, Avery Gilchrist, Dante Wilson, and Malik Brown. And in the secondary, Cal Key on one side, Tyquan Wilkins, the little left-hander, gets the start on the other side, and Daquan Moore in his normal safety spot.
Savage out of the shotgun formation, a low snap. He hands it off to Cannon, number 1, who tries to get outside, but he's dragged down for a loss at about the 32-yard line. Bob, what do you got for us down there? Some clarification for me?
Yeah, I got some just interesting footnote. Number 10, who made the tackle on that kickoff, that's Quillen. His daddy played at Kecoughtan, and his grandfather coached at Kecoughtan and at Heritage. That's John Quillen and Jovan Quillen. So we got a lot of Quillens out here tonight.
And I remember those names from Kecoughtan myself. Great athletes.
And a nice article on him by Dave Johnson, the Daily Press, a couple weeks ago on a young man, Jovan Quillen.
Savage back to pass again from the pocket. Receivers are covered. He throws it into 5-man coverage, and it's almost intercepted by the Crabbers at the 43-yard line, but it'll go as an incomplete pass
Well, in and out of the hands of Tyquan Wilkins. I know he wanted his first interception there, and he could have had it. Just it may have surprised him a little bit, coming right to his chest. Savage pays for staying in the pocket a little long. And right in Wilkins' hand and right out.
Oh, and you can see the disappointment right there. He knew he had that. Back to punt, I believe, is number 82, Jeremy Spencer. Low punt will hit about the 40-yard line and roll, and he gets a nice roll on that as it gets down near the 20. Looks like they'll spot it at about the 22-yard line. Hampton will take it over there, 1st and 10, with 9:38 left in the first quarter here at Darling Stadium.
Well, let's see what the Crabbers can do here. They had a couple plays there, at least one pass play they could have scored a touchdown on if Moore it was able to reach that throw. And then, of course, the 60-yard run. So the Crabbers showing a lot of offensive efficiency so far. See what they do here on their second drive.
Yeah, one play, one score. That's kind of like golf. One swing, hole out.
Well, I know that's Hale back there in the tailback spot now. We'll see if he gets a chance to run the ball. Marshawn Williams at fullback.
So the I formation once again. Marshawn gets it up front. He breaks tackle, breaks another tackle, gets over the 25-yard line, close to the 30. It'll be at about the 29-yard line. Nice run by Marshawn Williams, number 42.
Yeah, junior headed to Virginia Tech, already committed to Virginia Tech. We saw him come on the scene last year, and he's showing his grittiness here and the way he carries defenders. And you'll see he just keeps going through them and then starts carrying a few. First game this year against Heritage, I called him the haystack because he had so many hurricanes on his back. He just carried them up and down the field.
Now it looks like he's going back to the tailback position. Out of the eye again. The flip goes to Marshawn Williams on the backs this time. He goes to the outside and gets down just past the 40, where he's knocked out of bounds by the Warriors.
Hard to bring him down by yourself. Then tackled out there by Dominic Gilliam for the Warriors, joined by Samir Sargent. Sargent coming way down the line to help with that tackle. It takes two to bring Marshawn Williams down.
He's a big young man. He's, let's see if I can find that here. 6 feet, 221.
I know Sargent was up for player of the game last year in the game we watched. He and his fellow lineman for Kecoughtan played very well in the game last year.
This time it does go to the second back, and that's number 31.
Hale.
That's Hale, Roscoe Hale, a little scamper back there, cuts to the outside, picks up a few yards, be second down.
The Hampton run game looks pretty good so far.
It's getting nothing but positive yardage. That's the main thing.
You want to take a look at that left tackle hold up his block, beautiful over there, and allowing Hale to pick up 5 yards. He comes off for a breather.
And that says a lot right there. It is that offensive line that gets a lot of these yards, although the running backs are the ones that get the credit. They're on the far side of the field, out of the I formation once again. Marshawn Williams at the back. This time it looks to be a pass. He's got a couple of open receivers, and he hits one up at the 35-yard line of the Warriors, where he's spun out of bounds at about the 27, where it'll be a first down for the Crabbers.
Daquan Moore wide open again. I tell you, if you watch the passing, that's who you go to. He's always where he's supposed to be, and there, perfect throw by Newsom.
Looks like there was some sort of mix-up in the Warrior backfield, as they had about 4 or 5 defenders back there, but they were all clustered together with the receivers behind them.
Great fake, and if you saw out of the corner of that replay, Moore raised his hand, said he was open. Got right in front of the other defenders guarding the wide receiver.
First down and 10.
Timeout, Hampton.
Mike Smith, who's got his hat turned around already, so he's ready to talk to his team. That's Joe Addison catching a little bit of the wrath there.
Has anybody ever documented when Mike started doing that?
I don't know. Usually it's around the first quarter.
No, I mean, how many years ago he started doing that. It's become a trademark for him.
I think I've seen him like that for his entire career. I don't know if I've seen the big black sweater with the red crab on the front though before. That's something new.
Well, you got to remember, it's Lee Taylor's wedding coming up. There we see a couple of Crabber guys right there on the field. One of those, of course, is number 55, Malik Brown, senior. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching this on Cox Channel 48 and Verizon Fios Channel 23. LSC, your local sports station. Right here at Darling Stadium on October the 26th, 2012. The Hampton Crabbers and the Kecoughtan Warriors. 8 minutes, 5 seconds left here in the first quarter. Hampton with the ball, moving toward the goal. Out of the tee. Straight back, it's an inside handoff to Roscoe, and he is through the holes and scampering to the end zone where he will take the ball after bouncing around like a pinball. Number 31, Roscoe Hale with the touchdown.
Well, let me. I watched that entire play. I watched Hale out of the corner of my eye. I watched the left tackle, Jamonte Spriggs. If you want to see a block, watch this. Watch the hole that Spriggs. There's Spriggs, holds his man up. Look,
wow.
Gone.
Wow.
And then Hale turns on the speed, shows what we've told he has, the speed and the quickness.
And the good block upfield, too, as well. And that was Bo Lomax with the attempted extra point.
Only the third miss by Lomax this
failed.
year. And the guy that blocked it has come up a little bit limp there for Kecoughtan. I think Dominic Gilliam may have gotten a piece of that. He may have caught it all. Somebody may have fallen on his leg.
I hope he's okay.
And he limps off.
All right, with 7 minutes and 56 seconds left here in the first quarter, Hampton scores again for their second touchdown in the game to take a 13-0 lead. Kecoughtan will get another chance to get their offense back in gear, and it seems like Hampton is just kind of firing off on all cylinders and going nowhere but forward on this game. Roscoe Hale with the second touchdown. Marshawn Williams with the first one earlier in the game, a 60-yard run. So Hampton flexing its muscles right here. And they'll line the ball up on the 40-yard line. Bo Lomax will kick it off deep where it's taken by number
Lawrence Williams
5 again. Lawrence Williams to the outside, looking for some running room. Gets to the edge past the 40 and near the 45 where he's going to go out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
Good block out there to free up Williams by Brian Lipscomb. Let's see if we can pick that up. That scoring drive, 8 plays and 4:04 off the clock for that touchdown run. Travers being very efficient. Two TDs in 8 plays. Oh, very good. So two TDs and 8 offensive plays for the Crabbers so far. Little face mask there. We see the flag come out.
Yeah, Desmond hands that one off to Trenton Cannon. He'll try and bust it up the middle. From my memory, every time we've seen Cannon try to go up the middle, he doesn't get too many yards. His forte is on the outside, as we see Savage hand it off inside here.
It's not a bad block. Yeah, the face mask there may have slowed him down a hair too.
Yeah.
Had a little room to get up in there, but he's most effective when he can get around the corner.
And that was obviously an unintentional there, so. It'll be second down.
Face mask on the defense. 5 yards, add on to the end of the run. Replay first down.
Whoops.
Comes first and 1.
First and 1.
Nice of Dante Wilson to wear the orange sleeves out there tonight, the pink sleeves, so we can figure him out. He's in middle linebacker spot right now for the Crabbers.
Savage with the give to Cannon. He tries the middle and has to bounce outside where he's being chased by a host of Crabbers who finally push him out at about the 35-yard line.
I don't want to guess too often tonight, but I'm going to guess one of those Crabbers was held there on the end of the line to create that hole. The flag dropped right on the line of scrimmage.
And we may be able to pick it up right here.
And it was a hold.
Negating a nice run by Trenton Cannon.
See those pink sleeves come running in the picture. Dante Wilson covers a lot of ground. You can see him there in the view.
Now if we could just get the other players to
run, holding
different colors.
Offense, 10 yards from point of infraction. Replay first down.
This has been a heck of a series here. They've gone back and forth all on first down. Now it's first and 11, I think.
All on penalties. First and 11. Now the ball on the 43-yard line of the Warriors. They've got to get it down to about the 46-yard line of the Crabbers. Savage underneath center. He'll give it once again to Cannon, who can't find a lot of room as he struggles to get it back to the 45 before he's brought down. Bring up second down.
A nice play out there. Cannon thought he had a little more daylight than he ended up with. Arrington Bazemore in the tackle.
This Crabber defense not giving up a lot in the middle at all.
As we said, they haven't given up a lot in the form of points in 5 weeks. I think the last team to score them was in September.
Whoa. That far back?
It was.
Wow. Once again out of the Y. One end to the top, one to the bottom. This time he's back to pass, looking for a receiver, can't find any. Flips it out to the safety valve here, number 30, I think that was, for the Kecoughtan Warriors. The pass was incomplete.
It was Tajuan Taylor, the intended receiver. I think now that's a ninth grader throw there. He gets rushed out of the pocket, not able to calm himself down enough to make that little toss, but he's showing some quickness on that play. And he's going to be chased a lot tonight. When he's got time to throw, he's got a very good arm.
Yeah, he's going to have to be quick when they chase him out of the pocket there. There's some big guys, and they're all seniors from what I remember. So here we are again, one man in the backfield. He's going back to pass. He's looking, and this time he is really pressured. He's coming out. He's going to run. He's to the 50, to the 45, and slides down near the 40. Now this time, a little more use of his head.
And smart play there at the end. Why get nailed? You picked up the first down, picked up about 15 yards, so good decision there by the freshman.
Yeah, good coverage by the Crabbers secondary. Savage just didn't have enough time with the pressure of that front line and made the smart decision to pull it down and run and get that first down.
Will right out in front of him there with the helping the block.
So right in front of us here at the 42-yard line, Savage redirecting his players. Number 21 in the game for the Warriors now. Cannon, the lone setback. He's the one that gets the ball, coming to the left side. He gets free at the 40 and dances to the 35-yard line. I thought he was going to be down, and he bounced right back out and picked up another 5 yards.
Samir Sargent freed him up to go left, and then he made the most out of what looked there at the beginning to be nothing. Nice pickup by Cannon. There's a reason he has over 1,200 yards. Yeah. And that's one of them right there. Nice block. And here he comes scooting down the sideline, tiptoeing through the tulips.
Tell you what, nice moves right there.
Tiptoeing through the winter rye, which looks real nice out there. The green is not a problem with your color. That's the grass, the new grass that the stadium crews put down. It looks real good out there.
Out of the I formation once again. Both receivers up to the top of your screen, and he throws to Lawrence on the outside there, where he's going to pick up the first down by about a yard or two.
Nice play. It's a little bit under Williams' normal per-catch average, but a very important pickup of a first down. Well, close to a first down. Let's see. I thought for sure he had it.
So did I.
They're going to, no, looks like they're going to move it down. First down, Warriors.
Okay, so we both weren't terribly blind. First down, Kecoughtan with 5:59 left in the first quarter here at Darling Stadium. Savage underneath. We'll give it to the first man through. I believe that was number 30 for the Kecoughtan Warriors.
Tajuan, I believe, Taylor. Tajuan Taylor. Who is not going to be a real good friend of his quarterback there. That was here, have the ball and get crushed right at the line of scrimmage. So Savage may want to pull that one back out and come on down the line.
Let's see what they do here. We got second down and 10. Once again, the I formation. One receiver top screen, one at the bottom. Comes back, gives it to the second man. That's Cannon, who's hit and stopped, but he bounces off and gets to the 30-yard line, back to the line of scrimmage. Looked like he was going to be stopped before that.
He's tough to tackle. He turns sideways. It's hard to see him, and he can scoot by some guys, but that time you don't get by Dante Wilson, who had a leg there, and Cannon went no further.
Dante, 201-pound senior. Boy, when he hits, he hits. But this Cannon kid, he just moves and bounces around all the time. He doesn't give you much of a target.
Very slick down the line. Hard to get a hold of when he's running laterally and then can find the hole and cut up.
From the 31-yard line.
Timeout. Kecoughtan.
Well, the nice thing we're seeing, Paul, is the Kecoughtan takes a timeout. The Warriors aren't crawling into a hole down 13-0. They're putting together their best drive so far in this early part of the game.
Yes, they are moving the ball down, mostly by running outside. And, of course, that good play by Savage when he pulled the ball under and ran it himself for the first down. That was a key play in this drive so far. Really impressed with that young man when he does something like that.
But we're on live tonight. Glad you could join us here on LSC Cox Channel 48, Verizon Fios Channel 23. We're going to replay these games, so if you see something like you like or want to watch this game again, we're going to rebroadcast tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock. Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, then Tuesday the 30th at 8:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. and Friday the 2nd of November, 8:30 a.m. 8:30 p.m. Hard to believe it is almost November, Paul.
Yes, I know.
Ninth week of the season.
Yes. First 9 weeks of school is just about to end. 1/4 of the year gone through. We're out of the shotgun formation. Savage in the middle. Low snap. Goes back to pass. Look at the receivers rolling right. Finds an open man at about the 22-yard line.
Lawrence Williams again on the catch. I think the tackle. Look, it's hard to see the numbers between Daquan Moores and Trevor Arnodds, or we'll see what he does here. It's a nice hold there.
Nice catch.
Yeah, especially with the man right on his back. Williams, of course, has had a great season at his receiver spot and really helped both his quarterbacks this year and really helping Savage here.
Yeah, a real good help for the young freshman Desmond Savage, who really did a good job on that pass. He leads them under center again, and we've got flags flying every which way but loose.
A lot of pointing.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5 yards, replay the down.
Just guessing that's not what Coach Coley wanted out of that fourth down play.
No, I would think you would never want something like that on a fourth down play, especially when you're going for it.
Can't see the direction of his hat, but we'll assume it's turned backwards after that, as they had a chance to try to pick up the first down deeper in the Crabber territory.
Desmond Savage coming into the huddle with the play from the sideline. It is fourth down. The Warriors are going for it. Savage under center. He's got one receiver to the top of the screen, one to the bottom. He goes back, he's looking, he's got a man underneath, and he's going deep to the end zone where he's got number 5, Lawrence, who can't hold on to the catch, and it would have been a fabulous catch had he made it, Frank.
The Crabbers had about 7 guys back there in the secondary, and yet Williams able to sneak behind him, and he may, and let's look at this again, but I think he may have had that catch. He had to watch the ball through the hands of 2 defenders, including Daquan Moore, cutting across there and knocked his own man down, and right in the hands of Williams, and he dropped it. Nice pass by the quarterback.
Bob Hintz down on the field. How you doing, Bob?
Hey, guys, that last penalty against the Warriors, they were trying to pull the Crabbers offside on that weird count like Mike does all the time. But they pulled their own guy off. But that was a great pass that Savage threw into the end zone, and it very well could have been 6 points for the Warriors, but right now they're struggling.
They are, and it was a great pass as we see number 31, Roscoe, and he is breaking loose again, and there's nobody there.
Flag on the far side. Another good running display by Hale. He goes in, but the flag was dropped early. I think one of the Crabbers moved, and we'll see here. The referee's going to meet with the linesman over there and talk about what happened. I think it's a penalty on the Crabbers, though. You can see the flag on the far side near the first down stick.
Wow, nice run. Watch him find that hole and then move to the outside, get a good block, bust through 2 tackles, and once he gets through, nobody's going to stop him there.
Corbin Baxter, number 3. Well, the Warriors are a very good defender, but he was able to slip him, and nobody can catch him.
Well, they're having quite a long discussion here at midfield. 4 of them down there together trying to figure out what's going on. And here comes the word. Well, maybe not. All right, here it comes.
I don't know if the discussion, illegal procedure on the Crabbers. I think the discussion, though, was about something that happened down near the end of the field where the score was made.
False Illegal formation, offense, 5 yards, replay the down.
Flag was dropped before the snap ever occurred, so I saw that out of the corner of my eye.
So it was an illegal formation then.
Takes away a lot of Hale's yards, but the way he's running now, Mike Smith has taken his hat off, which indicates a higher level of irritation. There he is, nice picture, and that very cute sweater he's wearing.
Very cute sweater. Don't tell him it's a cute sweater.
Timeout, Hampton.
And there we go. We may want to turn the microphone off while Coach Smith has a discussion about the, I'm sure, talking about the new storm that's coming up the coast today.
Yeah, so once again, as Frank just mentioned, number 31, Roscoe Hale, showing you his abilities in his running there as he breaks another long touchdown run, unfortunately negated by the illegal formation.
Here comes a replay, and you'll see the flag come out on the top of the screen. There goes the flag. Here comes Hale through the hole. A lot of trap blocks bringing those Warriors way upfield, and then he just right through Baxter, and he's gone. And nobody's going to catch him. We've seen that a couple times tonight between him and Marshawn Williams. Nobody's caught them at all.
Where has this guy been all year?
The grabbers will say, thank goodness he's here now.
Yes.
Here comes Coach Smith.
We were right, Coach.
And what did you say that was, a cute sweater?
A cute sweater that he's got on, and that's about the only thing that's cute about him right now with that face. He's got his game face on, which is, we were wondering if the Crabbers were what they were going to bring tonight. What they brought is incredibly quick running backs and a line that is controlling the line of scrimmage.
And that's the key again, right there. It's that line. And the offensive line is just opening holes, and you've pointed out these great blocks that they're holding to keep that hole open. Here they come to the line of scrimmage. Deion Newsome under center. He'll go back, and he gives it to, I think it's Hale again. And he'll get close down to the 40-yard line. Make sure that was number 31 again, Roscoe Hale.
Well, Dante Wilson looked like he was holding open the front door that time. He pushed his man. Watch the center with the pink sleeves. Watch him hold him up. He pushed him 5 yards in the backfield.
He just got him, cleared him completely out of the area.
This is a very good defensive line. And I know the Crabbers, if they go on to playoff football, their concern is the size of the lines that they're going to face. So this is a good tune-up for them. Kecoughtan's not a small line at all.
Savage flips the ball back. It looks like Marshawn Williams on the outside. He hits one man at about the 42 and falls forward to about the 43.
Williams is one of those running backs, Paul, that leads with his thighs. And I think you just saw it right there.
As compared to some other runners in the district who will lead with their shoulders
or hips. Cannon is I think he's great because he can slip himself in the cracks there. But here, watch him lead with the thigh right there. And yet the defender held on. That's a great tackle. Having been run over, he was able to hold on to the bus.
And that's what you're going to have to do if you're going to stop these running backs tonight. You can't just hit them and bounce off of them.
Very good tackle by the Warrior.
Hale the first back. Marshawn Williams the second one. He's the one that gets it. He scatter steps and gets close to the 49-yard line before he's brought down. It'll be close to a first down, if not a first down.
If you're wondering what Newsome does when he comes over to talk to Coach Smith, apparently tonight what he's doing, they're flipping a coin. Heads Marshawn Williams, tails Roscoe Hale. If it lands on the edge, they throw the ball to Quan Moore. So it's that's what they're doing because the two running backs are having their way out there.
And it's working so far. And like Frank said, this is not a poor defensive Kecoughtan front line. They're very, very good.
220, 200, 250, and 220 up front for the Warriors.
Marshawn Williams once again off the right tackle. He'll get a couple more yards, brought down into Warrior territory at about the 48.
Virginia Tech's going to get a good one with Marshawn Williams. If you watch how he rarely, if ever, and I'm trying to think if I've seen him ever, falls backwards when he gets hit. Here comes Roscoe Hale back in. So it must have been a tail.
Hale number 31, Marshawn Williams number 42, the quarterback Newsome number 5. He's the one under center. Ends are to either side. Long count. Newsom looking both ways. Time's going to run out if they don't pull this one. It's going to be a quarterback sneak. Newsom takes it. He splits, gets through to the 40, to the 35, and down to about the 34-yard line before he's brought down. And that was a little bit of an amazing play for me. I didn't know what they were going to do there with that long count.
Well, I think Newsom called that himself. You can see him looking and looking and looking. And Dante Wilson, once again, pushes the screen door aside. And out comes Deion Newsom. Of course, Newsom, you know, number one passer in the district, but he's also on the rushing board. Number 6 in the district in rushing with 756 yards and 9 touchdowns so far. So Newsom, no stranger to carrying the ball.
And not what you call a true quarterback. He's just a very gifted athlete who is taking the quarterback position because he's the gifted athlete on this team right now.
Now, if the Crabbers get up here by a couple touchdowns, I imagine you're going to see Joe Addison a little bit in the second half. Maybe give Deion Newsom a break, because I know that the Warriors, with their size, are going to really try to put some hits on him.
Once again, it looks like Hale. This time he'll only get a couple of yards before he's brought down. Maybe 2-3 yards on this. Let's see where they spot it. They're bringing it back. It's going to be about 2 yards. It'll be 2nd and 8.
That time the line was able to close the hole a little quicker. Hale not able to get there. Not much of a hole developed, really.
Yeah.
But Williams back in with Hale. The third man in that rotation tonight's been Javalis Tony, who's been playing the fullback when one of the Hale or Williams comes out of the game.
Looks like they're going to run down the quarter here, and that's exactly what happens as time runs out in the first quarter. So here at Darling Stadium, after 1 quarter of play, the score, Hampton High School 13, Kecoughtan High School 0.
Kind of what we thought we'd see, Paul, out of the Crabbers. A good mix of run and a couple passes thrown in just to keep that defense to back off a little from the line. Good strong line play. Dante Wilson anchoring the line at center. But the left tackle for the Crabbers, who has really showed his mettle tonight, Jamonte Spriggs, has played extremely well out there, and they've run behind him a couple times tonight.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that's impressed me most tonight is that offensive line and the way they have just fired off the ball so quick and held their blocks so long. That's one of the key things. It's one thing to block a guy and hope the hole's there, but they'll hold that block, giving the runner plenty of time to get through there.
I'll tell you, we got a few first quarter stats. Marshawn Williams with 94 yards so far in the game. Hale with 55. Newsom with 11. So 160 yards rushing for the Crabbers so far. And they're 1 of 2 in passing, 31 yards for Newsom. So the Crabber rushing machine, which is, you know, how the Peninsula District has won. Rushing. We're going to see a good matchup next Thursday night. Marshawn Williams and Roscoe Hale on the Crabber side, and Tony Pittman and the other running back over there, Lane, Lane, who came in and filled in a couple of games, and still he's on the rushing leaderboard in the district, having started just 2 games. Here we go.
Going the other way now from right to left are the Hampton Crabbers, and Newsom is back to pass, and he's throwing it to the right side, and he almost throws it to the Warriors. We're getting a late flag there.
Well, that was the Warrior defender draped all over the receiver. And it looks like Deshaun Lynch that time.
Here's Newsom back to pass. I didn't think he had somebody open. I think he was looking for a burst of speed, and for a moment there, it looked like he was going to throw it to the Warriors.
Marshawn Williams, the receiver, and I think he anticipated. I think he would have had Williams open and had number 32 Lynch not hung all over him. So not a bad penalty to take that time by Lynch.
Defensive pass interference, automatic first down.
You know, that's that play they ran with the fullback from last year, the Crabbers, where the fullback goes right down the middle of the field and tries to catch that pass right over the top, and it was very successful last Dallas Cogdale. That's right. On that route.
Oh, yeah.
Ran it as well as anybody, and there Lynch ran it perfectly. He just got pulled down.
All sorts of receivers out there, and Newsom hands off to the running back, lone setback.
It looks like Williams.
Yeah, I think that was Marshawn Williams. That's correct, number 42.
Now that time, in a couple of times, we've seen the Crabber linemen let those Warriors in. Watch them, kind of let them in, pull, and then they let them in, gone. Hole is created when the defender comes through.
Fortunately for the Warriors, they had one man that stayed home and was able to bring the runner down. So we are down to 2nd down and 6. Out of the shotgun formation, one split to the near side of the field. Here comes the play to the left side. He scoots around one block, gets down inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line.
Tackle made by Brian Lipscomb from his defensive end spot. Williams now at 100 yards on 7 plays. Nice per carry average for Marshawn Williams.
And that's basically in 1 quarter as we see this last play.
Well, he's averaged 7.5 yards per carry coming into tonight.
Timeout for a minute.
So he's doing a little better for that in tonight's game.
Deion Newsome on that last play to the left side, bringing the Crabbers closer to yet another possible score, as we'll have a timeout here.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah,
as
we're wearing
you're
my
wearing your
pink shirt today.
Pink tie, very nice. And a lot of the young men have towels or wristbands in the pink color. I know a lot of people at my shop, Kaufman and Canoles, is going to be out walking in a 5K walk tomorrow at the Mariners Museum.
Yeah,
raise a little money.
First down.
One of the nice things I like at our school at Jones Magnet Middle School, a lot of the children or students have been wearing various shades of pink in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that's really nice to see that you have young kids supporting that effort.
This community of Hampton can come together better than any I know.
Yeah, it really can. Yeah, we think of ourselves as a big place, but we're really a tight-knit small community, so
Let's
makes
say
it nice.
Smallest town of 150,000 people ever.
And there are the Crabbers as they line up. Newsome in the backfield. Gets the ball, and he's running himself. It's quarterback keeper, bounces around, and he's going to get close, and he is pushed back by the Warriors at the last moment. It looked like he was going to get into the end zone.
A very good hit there because Newsome, somehow he escaped a couple of tackles. Then he got popped and continued to roll around.
Once again, he had a nice hole there to start with. Watch this.
Williams with a block to open up a little bit. That was Samir Sargent. It stuck him, but not able to drag him down, but for a couple more yards.
I'll tell you, Samir Sargent is all over the place. They're getting tough down there. We'll have to go down to Bob and see how that line is doing here in a few minutes.
And Hale in the tailback spot behind Marshawn Williams. This time Newsom slips and still gets in, I think. Yes, he did.
Yep.
A little bit of moist field there. Lost his footing, but yet able to dive across. Newsom adjusts himself and comes on the sideline.
Number 5, Deion Newsome, quarterback for the Hampton Crabbers, with a series of quarterback keepers, running himself, getting that one into the end zone for the Crabbers as they put 6 more points on the board to make it 19-0 with 9:54 left just in the second quarter here at Darling Stadium. Bo Lomax in for the point after. The ball is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So the Crabbers get more points. The score, Hampton 20, Kecoughtan 0.
His 33rd point after touchdown for Bo Lomax, who up until August was best known as a golfer and a swimmer and a soccer goalie. And the Crabbers staff able to talk him out of the soccer goalie spot in the golf team, and now he's become the leading kicker in the Peninsula District and doing a great job for the Crabbers. The Crabbers have had a history of pretty good kickers. He could be in line to be one of those.
Yeah, they sure have, and I tell you, it's really odd. I mean, it's not odd that you have a soccer player as a kicker. It's odd that the soccer player would be the goalie. Normally, it's not. Normally, it's one of the other players. The goalie is not someone that you think about kicking the ball. Other than punting, he's not someone you think about kicking the ball off the ground that often.
Well, the nice thing about coming to these games, and even if we don't broadcast, we try to go and see these guys play every week. And I remember the first week, I don't think Coach Smith actually knew or was concerned about Bo Lomax's name. He called him the kicker man, and that was his job. I think he knows him now, as he's added great stability.
And he kicks this one off to about the 28-yard line, where it's taken by the Warriors, and they get it back to the 34, where they'll take over 1st and 10 here in the second quarter at Darling Stadium.
It's a nice tackle. That's Jovan Quillen on the tackle, the freshman.
Again, that name, Bob, Jovan Quillen. Did you hear that? Jovan
As I
Quillen.
heard that.
There he is.
Let me tell you, the Crabber offensive line is just dominating the line of scrimmage. It's unbelievable. But the guy that blocked that first kick for them was Corbin Baxter, number 3, down at the other end. And they shut him down that time. Bo has got a good leg on him, got a great future with the Crabbers.
Desmond Savage back to pass again. He's looking deep, can't find him, and he is pressured and brought down for a huge sack at about the 22-yard line. That's going to be about a 10-yard loss.
I think it was Clem Thomas. Looking at the numbers, it was inserted in the front line for the Crabbers. You see him come around.
Number
and able
72.
to hang on to him. Clem Thomas, a senior. Just a small 240-pounder.
Small, quick 240-pounders. He got back on that one.
It's a good defensive line. A couple new faces, not quite the same offensive line. And you see Dante Wilson in his linebacker spot there on the right side of the screen.
Savage back. This time he gives it to Cannon, who goes to the left side looking for something on the edge, and he is collared quickly by the Crabbers, not going anywhere as they would not let him get anywhere near the corner.
Nice tackle out there by the Crabbers before Cannon could do what he does best, which is slip around that end.
Yeah, once he does that, it's something.
We'll see it again here. See him just trying to get around the corner. That's Deion Newsom
Yes,
that's got him. Newsom, who's like Samir Sargent for the Warriors, doing a little bit of everything tonight.
Newsom always does. We're always calling his name on both sides of the ball. But again, he's that athletic guy.
Well, he too committed to Virginia Tech. They're going to get a good one. I imagine they'll use him at flanker or split in, something like that, where he can really show that athletic skill.
2 receivers down to the bottom of the screen, but he gives it to Cannon, who goes up the middle and then heads outside toward the sideline. This time he'll pick up some positive yardage. Still the Warriors deep in a hole here as they'll have fourth down, and a lot of greenery to make up. From their own territory, they'll send out the punter. That looks like number 82 for the Warriors. That's Jeremy Spencer. He'll kick from about the 20-yard line. Two men deep for the Crabbers. I wish I could tell you the numbers from here, but I can't see them. I apologize. Here comes the punt, low punt. It'll be taken on a line drive at about he's going backwards. He took it at the 47 and got pushed back to the 41.
Well, something that wasn't there. Cost himself a couple of yards, but he'll get up and go back to his quarterback spot. Off he goes.
Well, I'm sure he doesn't care at this point where he starts from. The offense for the Crabbers has been moving forward. There you see him taking it about the 48, and then he can't find a movement on the outside and just gets swarmed under by the Warriors and actually lost the ball there and got it back.
That was after he hit the ground. Lucky for the Crabbers. We got 3 Crabbers with TDs so far. Let's see if anybody's going to add that group. Deion Newsom, Marshawn Williams, and Roscoe Haley each have a touchdown so far here in the first half.
Newsom collects himself under the center. Here comes the blitz. He gives it to the second back, and that looks like number 31 again. And here he goes. He blessed another tackle, and into the end zone he goes. I tell you what, Frank, every time this kid gets the ball.
58 yards. I don't see a flag. 58-yard touchdown run. Boy, he is something. Point him in the right direction, and he just shakes off. Nobody can seem to get a hold of his legs. There's a miss there. He runs by 32, and then 2 misses there, getting by a very quick corner there. That's Zachary James that had a chance to grab him, couldn't come up with a tackle.
Oh, man.
Grabber's going to go for 2 here, I think, to try to get them back to an even number.
26 points on the board by the Hampton Crabbers.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, Bob.
What really sprung him at the end there was the 2 Crabbers were going to go tackle him. They ended up blocking each other, knocking each other out of the tackle. That was Baxter was one of them, and 21 was the other one. I haven't got his name.
That was Zachary James, Bob. That was had a chance, kind of swiped at him and got knocked off the play.
But they took each other out, it looked like, and it was hard getting up. It was like, man, I wasn't expecting that.
I think they got drawn together by the vortex created behind Hale because he is really.
Well, I don't know what it was, but it got windy down here, so I'm sure that must have been part of it.
Hey, Bob, this kid, Roscoe Hale, he's been running the ball, and just are the holes really opening up that much for him, or is he just breaking it himself?
He's doing a lot of tackling, breaking the tackles, but the Kecoughtan Warriors are not wrapping up. When you hit one of these running backs for the Hampton Crabs, if you don't wrap them up, they're going to come out of that thing and keep right going. And that's part of that's happening. But now, like I told you earlier, the offensive line is controlling that line of scrimmage, so there's some holes there. But once they get through that hole, it's they're just not wrapping up the linebackers or the defensive backs.
Pretty good average for Hale. 6 carries, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. So pretty good little night for Roscoe Hale.
Hey, that's a whole game for some people.
Yeah, it is, and it gives Phoebus something else to worry about next week, too.
You got that right, guys.
Going for 2. Here's Hampton. Newsom's rolling out. He's got a wide open man into the end zone, and that is number 12? Does that make sense? Keontae Johnson?
Hard to see. I'm watching him now. Good Marshawn Williams. Yes, it was Marshawn Williams coming out of the backfield.
42.
Nice fake by Newsom there, and then rolls. Nice toss right over the top. He could have thrown either one of those guys. That's looks like Daquan Moore behind him.
3 pairs of eyes up here today, and it's the oldest one of us that's able to see the things on the field that we can't see. Thank you, Mr. Musgrove.
Well, I know Coach Coley for the Warriors is a little disappointed with the play here. I don't think he's going to be disappointed with the intensity. They seem to be just being pushed around a little bit on the line, and I know he'll have a nice, calm discussion with them in the locker room to see if they can't come out a little stronger, maybe starting right here at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, they are just being out-muscled, and the quickness of that Hampton line, both offense and defense, is tremendous tonight. They've come out with a purpose, and they want to go into next week showing everybody that they are that good. Lomax with the kick. Goes to the right side this time, where it's taken at about the 18-yard line. It's coming to the near side.
It's Lawrence Williams again.
Lawrence Williams changes directions, goes to the far sideline where he's got some room, and he gets down to about the 40, call it 43.
But he lost the ball, and I think, if I'm looking now, did he fall back on him?
I think he did.
Fell on it. But a nice move. That's the first time I've seen I don't know what the ice skating move is called, but that time that's a double hop to the right, and it eluded one tackler, took a couple more steps and got the ball knocked out. And here he comes to the left. You'll see him here hop, and then the ball gets knocked out, but he falls right on it. Very lucky that he did.
Good recovery by the Kecoughtan carrier, Lawrence.
Dick Button here to describe that move. I don't actually know that one.
Is he still alive?
I think he is.
Desmond Savage wins the ball, hands it to the second man through. I believe that is Cannon once again. He'll take it off the right tackle and get it down to about the 49-yard line, about a 4-yard pickup.
Nice block in front of him. Caleb Vankenschott really had a nice block there and was able to open up a hole. And you see Trent Cannon just stick on his back and try to ride him down. And that worked very well, picked up 4 yards.
And that's something they need to continue doing. Desmond Savage, the quarterback, number 11. He takes it, gives it once again to Cannon. They're using him as a workhorse right over that right side again for 2 yards.
That was Chris Pauling that time, leading the charge for the Warriors. Pauling from his center spot. So they're up against a good Crabber line, and they're making a little dent in this series. Third and 3 for the Warriors. This would be a big first down for them.
Here's the replay that you're seeing on the screen as we get ready. Savage with the ball, gives it again, and this time Cannon is hit quickly for a loss at about the 48-yard line. I didn't see who that was for the Crabbers.
That was Dante Wilson.
That was Dante on the end.
Putting on the gun show out there. He's actually put the fluorescent pink on there just so you can see how big the biceps are. I appreciate that, Dante. To show those off. I'll try that when next time I go to the gym. I'll wear the fluorescent pink so they can see mine. But he is, that was a great move. 10 carries so far for Cannon, 19 yards total. Not the night he was looking for.
Not at all. Not at all. Jeremy Spencer back to punt for the Kecoughtan Warriors as we have
Timeout, Kecoughtan.
timeout called here for the Kecoughtan Warriors. 5:44 left here in the second quarter at Darling Stadium. The score, the Hampton High Crabbers 28, the Kecoughtan High Warriors 0. A running game feast for the Crabbers.
It really has been. One thing I want to mention to our viewers tonight, you're seeing a great ball game on what appears to be a crystal clear picture tonight on the eve of Frankenstorm, the hurricane coming up the coast. It's turned into a nice, little moist, a nice cool night here Friday night at Darling Stadium. But we've got a great crew behind doing the camera work. Susan Bowers, Wube Gebre, Randy Bagoli, and Steve Fryer on the cameras. The graphics and animation, Andy Foley. Slow motion instant replay, Krista Campbell. Camera control operator, Renee Camden. The chief engineer, Don Sherrouse. The auto engineer, Greg Lesko. And there's the punt. Out of bounds. We're going to the director producer tonight, Don Sherrouse. Of course, your announcers, Paul Rowe and myself, Frank Edgar. Joined by Bob Hintz down the field and Brent Musgrove down the counter here, handing us the statistics. So thanks to everybody to help bring this game to you tonight live from Darling Stadium.
Had a good game. I like that description. Crystal clear screen.
Really is remarkable. I apologize to the viewers at home if they got to look at me on a crystal clear screen, but I'm glad that they're seeing this ball game.
Well, part of the fact is it's such a great field as we get a view through the golf cart down on the field. A great camera shot down. Who's doing that one? Is that Steve Fry? Is that Randy Bagoli, the new boy on the block? Great angle. Deion Newsome for the Crabbers under center. He goes back and he's going to give it to the second man who gets tripped up, but he gets, oh my gosh, he gets free down to the 40, the 50. And I'm trying to figure out whether that was, it's Hale again.
Hale.
Oh my gosh.
That time he used every bit of skill to get around there. What a escape artist.
Watch this.
Slip, duck, get out of the big guy's grasp. Off he goes. Then he tries to run over. That's Corbin Baxter. Nice stop by Baxter, but my goodness, Roscoe Hale. And I tell you, there's nobody more excited on that field than Marshawn Williams.
Yeah, gives him some rest.
Gives him a break. You know, the Crabbers have lost one game this year. They lost to Bethel, 17-13. That game, Williams had been hurt the game before. And so this is a nice time for the Crabbers to have a little backup for Williams.
Roll out by Newsome and nobody there to cover him. He's going to get loose. He's going to go all the way. He took it over. He's passed. He's in. 6 points. Hampton that quick. Roll out, 4 pass. Didn't see anybody. Cut back up the field to the right. Came to the left. Found an open lane that we could have driven a truck through and just went to the end zone before I could even say much of anything.
49 yards. That's probably the third touchdown run of greater than 45 yards tonight for the Crabbers. He sees that left side open up, and then he's a hard man to catch. You imagine him in the maroon and orange.
Oh, man.
Bo Lomax.
Look at that.
For the point after. Nice kick. Lomax seems to get stronger as we go through the season.
That ball went about 40 yards. Easy.
A little left-hander Taekwon Wilkins holding the ball for him. The two of them have worked very hard together all year long to teach Bo really how to kick an extra point. They've worked hard. I remember the first game against Heritage. They were not set up right. They were a little too close to the center. He about kicked in the back of the center. But Bo has come a long way and doing a great job. Sending out again my regards to his father and mother. His father's stepfather passed away earlier this week. Chip not here tonight, so hope he's been able to catch us on the internet.
I hope most people know we're on the internet. Here we go as we watch this once again.
This is Steve Fryer's camera here, I think.
Look at Newsome. Now watch him find this lane right here. Boom, he's gone.
I almost need that camera from Fox Sports for the slow motion replay so you can at least catch him as he goes by in the blur. I mean, in that time, I think I could see the hummingbird clearly, but I couldn't see Newsome. He was so fast.
Did you feel the breeze down there, Bob, when he went by?
Yeah, there was another vortex. I don't know where it's come from. The wind picks up and then it lets down, but what a nice cutback. From down here, you could see that, and that ball's coming right at me. It was out of bounds. downs. I guess he wanted me to run it back. I don't know.
Don't touch it, Bob. Don't touch it.
I'm not going to touch it.
You know, I'm thinking here, Bob, that most people in Hampton Roads are worried about a storm called Sandy. I'd worry about a storm called Newsom, Hale, Williams.
Hey, not only a storm called Newsom, but, you know, you could add Williams and some other names to that, too. And just to cover them all, just say the Crabbers.
Yeah, 100% chance of hail tonight, I think, was.
Yeah, if it hails tonight, we're in trouble.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Oh, I hear what you're talking about.
Halftime statistics.
You're glib tonight, Frank.
Well, it's quite a show, an offensive show by the Crabbers tonight. And that's just continuing in their streak over the past few weeks. They have put up a lot of points and held the other teams to absolutely no points.
And that's what they're doing tonight as Bolo lines the ball up after the touchdown, where the Crabbers lead now by a score of 35-0, and they'll kick it from the 35.
Coach Smith having some last-minute discussion about where he wants the ball kicked. Not really showing any secrets there either. Yeah, I think he wants it over here near the 40-yard line. Oh, maybe that's where he didn't want it, was out of bounds. That's Baxter. Corbin Baxter up the right side. Nice hole there. And
closed up quickly.
Well, Corbin Baxter is a very good football player and has had some great games here at Darling Stadium. He's a senior, 190-pounder, starting cornerback, but he runs back kicks and does a great job for the Warriors, has done so for a couple of years.
And the Warriors need a couple of good jobs right here as they're going to need some yardage. 5 minutes, 9 seconds left in the half here. They're behind by a score of 35-0 as we watch Danny Mitchell as he's getting his team prepared and seeing what he's going to have to do.
Let's see if Desmond Savage starts showing off that arm a little bit. See if Kecoughtan goes to the air here, down 35-0 here.
He's got two wide receivers at the top of his screen, but he's going to give it off to Cannon, and he's hit almost as soon as he gets the ball that time, Frank. They were right there with him.
He almost handed the ball to the Crabbers. They were all around Cannon. Cannon may have been surprised he got that handoff. Cannon had no room that time. Cannon is a guy that needs some room to get started and give him a little room to make a move. And again, he's been an excellent running back all year long this year, as he was last year for the Warriors. Kind of surprised last year.
Like a pinball.
Very much so, but a tall young man.
Yeah. Ball goes once again to Cannon, once again off that right side, and he's hit real quickly at the 50-yard line. He'll pick up about 3 yards.
Tackle that time by the Crabbers. Looked like number 35, Andrew McKee, who's in the lineup spot tonight. Let's see if we can pick it up here. Just very difficult. The contrast on the screen is much greater than the contrast in real life here.
Oh, yes. So much so, it's ridiculous.
Well, we've mentioned the Phoebus uniforms we watched a couple years ago over at Harbor Park when they played. It was about 14 degrees, and they were wearing white jerseys with white numbers against Lake Taylor.
Yeah. Let's try to forget that one. Let's try to forget it. Once again, two receivers to the top of the screen. Savage goes back. He's pressured, and is going to be brought down. He loses the ball. And it looks like the Crabbers may have it. We'll have to see. That's the initial indication, is Crabbers with the ball, and it'll be first down for Hampton at Kecoughtan's 42.
Dante Wilson comes into the play. Look for the pink gun show. There he is. And as he comes around and his hand reaches in, pops the ball out, and his teammate falls on it. Dante Wilson, who isn't, if he's not the defensive player of the year in the Peninsula District, then somebody's missed a few games.
It hasn't been us, because we've been watching most all of them.
Yeah, you know, his brother is Tyrell Wilson, had 4 great years at Hampton High, and now playing at Virginia Tech. So he comes from a good stock, and what a good family the Wilson brothers come from. Their father was quite a player too.
3:40 left in this first half here at Darling Stadium. Newsom with a blitz. Goes back to pass, loses his footing, and still throws it to a wide open receiver. But because of the slip, he got it off a little later than he wanted to, and it was intercepted by the Warriors at the 15-yard line.
Well, that's Javon Quillen, and that may have been a freshman mistake by Quillen, who tended to sit back and wait for the pass. In fact, he had his hands up while the ball was in the air and should have stepped up and tried to knock the defender out of the way. Throw was rushed a little bit, but the ball's there. You see Quillen wait, and he should have stepped up. The defender steps in and makes the pick.
A good spot by Newsom to throw to, just unfortunately a little underthrown there.
Quillen would have been wide open in the end zone if Newsom had the footing and the time to get that pass off. So a turnover by the Crabbers.
Kecoughtan back with the ball, this time at their own 15-yard line. Savage gives it to the first man through.
That's Quill.
Who apparently was erased there. That's
number 31, and I've been looking for that number all night long, and I don't see it anywhere.
Tajwan Taylor, who's had a couple of carries.
He's 31?
30. Was it 30, wasn't it?
I thought it was 31.
I think Taylor finally got his chance to carry the ball that time. Fullbacks always appreciate getting handed the ball every now and then. They do such hard work. Not a lot of recognition.
That's number 31, and I've been looking for the last 5-6 plays trying to find out who that is with no name there. They try to give it to him again, and this time it just hits him in the chest, and the ball bounces free. Don't know who's got it yet. I think Kecoughtan may have recovered it. We'll wait till they unravel the pile here.
Yeah, that one went off. It looks like Cannon's chest.
Hey, guys.
Unable to corral the ball. You're right, it is 31, but don't have a 31.
Down on the field, Bob Hintz has a St. Louis Cardinals baseball player. Bob, who have you got down there?
I got David Wadford down here, and David is redshirting this year. Talk a little bit about the redshirt year.
The redshirt year is just a big learning year for me. Acclimating myself more with the offense and just furthering my knowledge that I do have in the offense now, and just learning, just keep getting better, and just keep working as hard as possible. So it's a good year for me.
Do you do a lot of work in the weight room too? Because I know you're doing everything just like you were playing.
Yes, sir. You do a lot. Nothing drops off. If anything, everything picks up. You do more work in the weight room. Try to do more film study and more film sessions, so you better yourself and you get the mental part down. So, the physical part comes with that, too. Just a lot of weight room and a lot of field work, too. So.
Well, I know your mom was worried about your grades, but I don't think we have to worry about your grades.
Yeah, my grades are looking really good this semester, so I'm happy about that. I've been working really hard on it. So.
Well, coming down here seeing the Hampton play kind of brings back some memories, doesn't it?
It does. I miss being out here playing on this field, just playing under the lights. Playing for Coach Smith and just playing with all my friends, all my brothers. So, it's a good experience to come back and see all these guys, though.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to talk to me, David. Thank you. Good luck to you up to UVA.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Lucky down here on the sideline.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that.
Good to see David out here watching two of his cousins, Deion Newsom and Dante Wilson.
And while we were having that interview with Bob, Cannon got a little draw play there for 20 yards, bringing the Warriors out near the 35. And then the little run there didn't net much of anything at all, so it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Kecoughtan Warriors. On that first play that Cannon had 20 yards on, he came up kind of favoring his foot a little bit. Looks like he might have twisted it or something. Right now we got a man down on the field.
Yeah, that's Cannon that was down. Hopefully it's a cramp. I can't tell. But that's a huge loss for the Warriors if that is Trent Cannon going off, and it looks like it is. So.
It is.
That's not a good sign. But now, every play's an opportunity, and I'm sure Coach Coley's got somebody in mind that he wants to see back there. And Trenton is a senior this year, had another great year. I'm sure there's somebody over at Kecoughtan High School like to carry the ball a little more. We may see him right here.
Trying to see, it looks like, could that possibly be number 6 in the backfield, Carrera? Back to pass is Savage, a little flip pass to the outside to number 31, who, ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry we don't have a name for the Warriors number 31 on the rosters that we have here.
But it's a good pass, and again, I thought we'd see a little more passing. It's 1st down by 7. I thought we'd see this a little more earlier in this quarter, because he does have a good arm, and he's got some guys that catch the ball out there pretty well.
Yeah.
Nice play.
Frank, I'm going to say that I just heard the announcer next door call the man Taylor, number 30, so it could be 31. It could be the 31 Taylor.
And shirts.
Change shirts.
Because we haven't seen 30 at the same time. Two guys can't be in the same place, right? So,
well, that's what they say. For right now, I'm going to call that Tajuan Taylor. I'm going to call that number 31, Tajuan Taylor. If I'm incorrect, I apologize. Again, our rosters don't have a number 31. We're going by what they said.
We'll get that straight at halftime. Kecoughtan with a little bit of a drive right here, and they need one. They need to try to get on the board against this tough Crabber defense.
Well, they've got 5 seconds to do it. This is going to be the last play of the half. Savage back to pass. He's pressured. He's going to try and get out of the pocket. From behind him comes a Crabber. Guess who?
And it looks like Dante Wilson just by the speed, but let's see. No.
Number 62.
Oh, it's Troy Garrett.
Troy Garrett.
Yeah.
Troy Garrett brings Savage down on the last play of the first half. As you watch the replay here, couldn't find anybody. As again, all night long, that Crabber secondary has done a fabulous job in keeping the receivers covered. Savage had nowhere to go. And we're going to end at halftime here with the score, Hampton High School 35 and Kecoughtan 0. And we are broadcasting on Cox Channel 48 and Verizon Fios Channel 23 on Friday, October the 26th, 2012. Bob Hintz, are you still down there? I think he's headed for the stands right now, ladies and gentlemen. We were going to get one last word from him. So far, the game we kind of thought we were going to have here, a hard-running game by the Hampton Crabbers, and they surprised everybody by bringing out a new running back, number 31, Roscoe Hale, who has just run crazy all over this field here at Darling Stadium tonight, over 100 yards, giving a rest to Marshawn Williams tonight. And the offensive line for the Crabbers doing a fantastic, phenomenal job as they open hole after hole for both of these running backs. So right now at Darling Stadium at halftime, 35-0, the Hampton Crabbers over the Kecoughtan Warriors. Stay tuned. We're going down to Bob. He's finally got it back up again. Bob, what have you got?
Guys, the Hampton Crabbers are constantly trying to fine-tune what they're doing. Coaches, normally are not happy anyway, even when you score. And they're finding little things that these guys are doing that they know if we correct them, it's going to make it tougher for next year or next week for the Phantoms. Oh, what a team this is. And, and I'm not as glib as the guy you got up there next to you. I don't think anybody's ever called him glib before, have they?
He's still trying to figure out what that means.
Oh, okay.
He's still trying to figure out what that means. Bob.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this young guy, Roscoe Hale. I just really enjoy watching him run. How is that going to stack up for Phoebus next week?
Well, see, now you can't zero in on one guy. You've got Williams, you got Newsom, you've got Hale, and they got another guy they're just throwing it. I think Frank is right. They're flipping a coin, and if it lands on the side, Coach Smith is going to go. But you guys were talking about Smith and turning his hat backwards. Hey, he had it backwards for the interview. I mean, he was ready from get-go. But when he called that timeout and they threw the penalty for that long run,
right?
Mike questioned the football knowledge of the guys with the striped shirts. He says, we were in this formation. Look at me, he says. We were in this formation. And they just didn't pay any attention to him, of course. But he thinks that was not a penalty. It should have been called.
And in your opinion?
Well, I can't see from where you guys, because it happened on the other side of the field. But you know that it took them a while to decide that was illegal procedure. Illegal procedure is a pretty cut and dry method. Well, they had a couple of conferences, and that's, again, made Mike understand what he was trying to get through to him, and they weren't listening.
Yeah, well, they actually called it, when they gave that sign they called it illegal formation, is what he said.
Right, and he showed them the formation on a piece of paper. They weren't buying it.
All right, Bob is your glib co-host up here, and I wanted to ask you, let's talk about the Kecoughtan Warriors. We know Coach Coley comes in to Kecoughtan, not a guy that likes to lose. He doesn't like to get kicked in the teeth like he's been here in the first half. What's he going to tell these guys and what are they going to try to do in the second half?
Well, what you're doing is you're going to play for yourself. You're going to go out there and you're going to try to get better at your position. And if he can get each one of those guys to understand you play a little bit better, this guy play a little bit better, we can come out here with not a win, but at least we can hold our heads high that they didn't blow us out any more than what they got 35. We don't want to get beat 70-0.
And we saw Cannon come off the field there toward the end of the second quarter, which concerns me. Obviously, he's one of the top rushers in the district. But is it a chance for Coach Coley to try to find next year's tailback?
Well, I don't think he's going to try to do this week, next week. Who they play next week? Minchville?
Yes. Minchville, yes.
They will find their the other guy next week, I'm sure. But you've got to understand the thinking of the coaches. They want the Cannon kid to get as many yards as he can. They want him to have some long runs. They're just not been able to open up any little spaces for him to get through. So when he tries to get outside, Hampton just too quick. They're not going to let him get outside because they know that he can burn them on the outside.
And that's where his forte is, and they've closed that down so far all day. But what I'm concerned about, Bob, on that 20-yard run that he had in the last quarter here right before the end of the half, it appeared that he may have twisted or did something to one of his ankles or his foot, and it was the next play where he was down and they took him out. So I'm concerned about that foot. Any comments there?
No, I'll go over and find out. But while that was happening, I was talking to David Watford, so I didn't get to see that. But I will go over on the other side when they come out, and I'll find out if he's okay or if he's not going to play or whatever, and I'll give you an update then.
All right. We appreciate that very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Hintz. Bob Hintz, of course, the talking man on, what's the name of that show?
Sports Talk, isn't it?
Sports
yeah.
what? Sports
Time.
Sports
with Bob
Time.
Hintz. That's the 7:30 and 7:30 show on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Cox Channel 48 and Verizon Fios Channel 23. Great show, and Bob interviews some of many of the great sports people here on the peninsula and in Hampton in particular, and he's had quite a group being interviewed, and they're always entertaining shows. So try to catch Bob on Sports Time.
Yeah, and he knows everybody. I mean, Bob's been here 112 years, and he's coached for 115. So he knows all the athletes from the area, and he just brings them all in and talks to them. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, late breaking news. We've got some wonderful people around us here that find the information that we're looking for. Number 31 for the Kecoughtan Warriors is a young gentleman by the name of Greg Bennett. We apologize for not having that number here, but again, we go with what we're giving, and we did the research, and number 31 is Greg Bennett of the Kecoughtan Warriors, and we now have that information, so hopefully we'll get his name right for the rest
Bennett,
of
a sophomore, 200-pound sophomore, getting his chance tonight in the fullback spot.
Yeah, and why don't you tell us, as we're waiting here on the field for the band to come in. We've got a ceremony going on. I think they're recognizing the seniors for the Hampton High School Crabbers on the field. But right now, we're going to let Frank talk to you about some of the sponsors we have for our games.
I'll tell you, we've got some great sponsors. Tonight's game, of course, sponsored by the Grey Goose Restaurant located on West Queensway in Hampton. Dana Epstein down there and her crew bring you some great Southern food.
Man.
And they have now shows. I've got a brochure tonight for a show down there. And
what is it? Do you have it handy here?
I think I do have it handy. It's she's got a winter Wonderettes holiday show, December 1st, 2nd, 7, 8, 9, and December 13, 14, 15, and 16 down a little activity or drama down there at the Grey Goose. Great place for a holiday lunch, by the way. So we thank Dana and her crew at the Grey Goose for sponsoring.
And also, for the nice sandwiches, too.
Oh, delicious. The game tonight, sponsored by Smith Brothers Funeral Home of Hampton, located down in Phoebus, has been serving the community since 1862. Smith Brothers here to serve your needs. The funeral director is Andrew T. Smith, Jr. Also, Tidewater Team Sports, located on Cannon Boulevard in the Oyster Point section of Newport News. Tidewater Team Sports is your one-stop sports headquarters for screen printing, embroidery, uniforms, and apparel. Call 594-0411 and talk to David Chubb or Terry McNamara. Our first half sponsor also is Beach Hardware, located in 1951 East Pembroke Avenue in the Buckrow Shopping Center. Beach Hardware is your friendly local hardware store with everything you need to maintain your home inside and out. And I will tell you, Paul, if you need to have some repair work in your bathroom in an old house like mine, Beach Hardware is the place to go. They're the only place that had the parts for a house built before 1950. That's a good shot of Dante Wilson and his parents out there. What a handsome family they are. And I'm sure his brother Tyrell is up in Blacksburg watching it on the internet tonight on HSC or HCS 48.
Yeah, and let me interject right here. Just for those of you that don't know this, we keep telling you to watch us on Cox Channel 48 and Verizon Channel 23, which you can see all the time. But most people don't know that you can also go on the internet to watch LSC. All you have to do is go to the Hampton City School website. When you are at the website, look on the top and you'll see a little box that says WHCS. Click on WHCS. It'll take you to the WHCS webpage right there on the Hampton City School site. In the right hand, or on the right-hand side, you'll see in black and white flashing letters LSC. Click on that. And when you do, don't get scared. The little screen's going to drop down on the left-hand side, and it will start streaming whatever happens to be playing at that time. You can click that box to view it full screen, and you can see everything on your computer that you would normally see on your TV. All right. We're going to go right back down to Bob, who's got some more information for us, and another guest. Bob.
All right, thanks, guys. I got Phil Manello here. Phil is the athletic director over at Hampton High School. And first year, how's it going?
It's going real well. You know, it's a joy working with the kids and the coaches, and I'm learning a lot, and it's been a great experience so far.
Well, you missed the first half with all these touchdowns going on, but, you know, the Crabbers get better every year. Now, you've been over there a while, but have you watched them the beginning of the year? They just, you know, if you're going to beat them in the early year, but later on, they just seem to get tough.
And that's one of the great things about having continuity in your coaching staff is that you start to get an idea of what the players can do. The coaches zero in on that, and they start to hone that as it moves through the season. So by the time we get to week 8, 9, and 10, the kids are clicking on all cylinders and they're ready to pick it up for the postseason.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about your job, because now you're going in, getting ready to go into the winter sports. How many winter sports are we talking?
Well, boys and girls basketball, JV and varsity, swimming, wrestling, and indoor track, boys and girls. So it's a full slate for the winter season.
All right, now when that happens, do you have to be at most of the contests, or that's something you want to do, or that's part of your duty?
Well, everything that we have at the school, I'm there for. So basketball games, if the varsity's at another school, I'm at the high school for the JV games. But as far as getting to swimming and indoor track, I mean, that's all stuff that I enjoy doing. You want to be there to support the kids, and we've got some really amazing athletes at Hampton, so it's good to see them be able to perform not just in the classroom but on the playing field.
All right, now, do they get to go over to Boo Williams, the indoor track squad? Do they get to go over there a couple days a week?
Yeah, we practice over there twice a week. We've got an arrangement with the city of Hampton and Boo Williams where each one of the schools goes over there and practices twice a week, and then the other times we spend working around the school, lifting weights and working on fine-tuning their mechanics.
All right. If you were to talk to somebody and say, this is the things that I get from being an athletic director that you don't get from anywhere else in the school system, what would you tell them?
It's an interesting mix of working with the kids and with adults. As a teacher, you spend most of your time working with the kids, and as an administrator, it's most of your time working with adults, and this is kind of someplace in between, because I discuss eligibility issues and doing the right thing to get themselves into college with the kids, and then work with the coaches to help foster that kind of environment.
I appreciate you taking time to talk to us. All right, guys, go back up to you.
All right, thank you, Bob. Once again, Bob Hintz down on the field with more information for us from the sideline. It's nice to have Bob Hintz down there.
And it's nice to see Phil Malillo. No pressure on Phil this year, having won the state basketball championship last year. No pressure on him going in the winter season at all.
All right, Frank, well, let's take a look at some of the halftime highlights where Hampton High School is leading this game by a score of 39-0 here at Darling Stadium. And here they are.
And here he comes. Marshawn Williams with first touchdown run of the night. And he bulls his way through the line, and he's gone. What speed from a guy that big. He just outruns the entire Kecoughtan defense. That kind of set the tone for the night. Here comes his counterpart, Roscoe Hale, as he goes through the Kecoughtan defense. Now here's Trenton Cannon, one of his runs, as he tries to get outside. This time he's successful. Tiptoe down the sideline and able to pick up a few yards there. It didn't have enough of those runs from a Kecoughtan perspective. Here he comes again, off the left side this time. You see him switch the hands there, and here he truly tiptoes down the sideline. Here's a touchdown run by Deion Newsom, who slips and still falls in for a TD. Kind of one of those nights for the Crabbers. This time, that looks like Hale again, and it is, right up the middle, and you see him split the two defenders. What speed he's shown tonight. Here comes the, I believe, a kickoff return it is. That's Lawrence Williams with the ball for the Warriors. Here comes a hop step to the right. Drops the ball, lands right on it. Very fortunate for Kecoughtan. Could have been worse. This time, it is Deion Newsom himself as he decides to explore the entire half of the field, going from one side to the other, inspecting the new winter rye. Here we go. Now this is the fumble caused by Dante Wilson as he puts his hand in there and pokes out the ball. And that's responded, or the Kecoughtan gets that pick back. Defender able to get up and get in front of Quillen that time and make the pick. Here comes Cannon, one of his better runs. But there's where he gets his knee twisted, and that hurt me to watch. Fortunately, I don't think it's serious. And then that was Marshawn Williams starting on that first run again. And to be honest, that pretty much shows you they've run all night long. 302 yards for the Crabbers on the ground tonight.
Just in the first half.
Yeah,
just in the first half.
Yeah, I know we got running clock rules that are going to come into play here, as they've been running the clock during halftime pretty good here. As Justin Ratcliffe and the Crabber band out putting on another dazzling show. The Ratcliffe, a lacrosse coach in his spare time, a very good one.
Are you serious?
Has taken the job here at Hampton High, and he has done a wonderful job with this band.
Exactly. Back when we were with WHCS a couple of years ago, in fact, Don produced a couple of shows where we showcased the bands, the Warrior Classic, and the growth in Hampton High School's band from then until now is just phenomenal. Phenomenal how they have done so well. They're a great band.
Well, and in the past, you remember the Crabber Band in parades, the pride of the peninsula. Well, Justin Ratcliffe has brought that back, and it shows you the good leadership. The kids respond to good leadership, and this band looks great. Now, this is just his marching band. He'll tell you he's got a variety of different bands: stage band, jazz band. The music programs in the high schools in Hampton are outstanding. I know Kecoughtan has a guitar club. I have a nephew over there, Nick Darden, who is just a virtuoso on the electric guitar and has his own band. He's a senior this year, and he's been in his band a year. And has cut his own records, written his own music, all through this guitar club at Kecoughtan High School.
Does he need an air guitarist? I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, he probably has several. I've heard him play. Quite terrific. So it's good. The Hampton City School is doing a nice job offering these kids not only athletics that they've had for years, but all sorts of programs, including music and drama and dance and all the things that make a good, well-rounded community.
And that's the key. And, of course, as you know and I know both, when they're ready to go to college, it's not just the academics that the colleges are looking at. They're looking at the well-rounded person.
That's right. You want to start building your resume as a kid early on, and then whether it be athletics, drama, speech, all sorts of programs that these schools do, music. It's amazing to see the variety of talent in these young folks, and the Hampton City Schools does a nice job bringing that out.
And these students that still maintain that GPA, that's what's nice to see.
Well, I know that the Kecoughtan principal, Raymond Haynes, right, he has challenged his fellow new principals of the other three high schools to academic competitions this year. The Kecoughtan, we were talking last game how the Bethel principal has renamed his school Bethel High School, home of academic excellence. Well, Principal Haynes over at Kecoughtan is doing the same thing, and that's all these principals are really pushing the academics to build the reputation of the Peninsula District in the Hampton City Schools in particular, not only on athletics but on academics.
And academics are what Hampton is proud of right now.
Well, you see these kids, you want them to go off to play. If they're athletes, you want them to play in these in Division I programs. If they're academics, you want them to go to Harvard, Yale, Virginia Tech. All the schools that we're especially here, so proud of here in the Commonwealth.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is just somebody's comment about my air guitar comment a minute ago. We have somebody in the peanut gallery here that says he may not need an air guitarist, he needs an air singer. An air singer. Someone who must be familiar with my talents, I'm sure. So thank you. Thank you, Brent Musgrove. I appreciate that.
Well, senior night here at Darling Stadium for the Hampton Crabbers, and they have got quite a group of seniors. They're going to miss guys like Daquan Moore and Dante Wilson on the Friday nights here on the Peninsula.
You know, what's going to happen when Dante Wilson goes? Anybody behind him?
You know, I don't know who can step into those shoes. They're mighty big shoes. He stepped in where his brother left off, Tyrell, who's up at Virginia Tech. Dante's filled that role very well. I know the Crabbers, as all the 4 schools in Hampton, looking for the new stars, and we've seen a few this year. We've seen them particularly in the quarterback spot. Tolliver down at Phoebus, Savage here at Kecoughtan, and we're seeing some young talent.
And there's a young man tonight that you just saw, number 32 for the Hampton Crabbers, and that, of course, is Kayshawn Lynch, preparing and getting ready to start the second half, along with number 62 and number 67. Who's number 62 and 67?
Troy Garrett for the Crabbers is 62, and 67 is Carlton Weatherington. Wethington.
Yeah, I was just looking on Kecoughtan's sheet for that other one we just saw.
Well, the Warriors are going to get the ball first here in the second half. They trail 35-0, but let's see what the
35 or 39?
35-0, and 5 touchdowns for the Crabbers.
Well, I'm sorry. I think I said 39 a little while ago. It looked like a 9 from here.
They've been growing this winter wheat. They just haven't fixed that last light bulb down there, but it's
I was looking down here, not down there.
Old Point Bank scoreboards, which are wonderful that you can see them from the road too as people ride by. We wish more people would stop and come in the stadium and see them.
Yeah, this is such a great stadium. Here's the kickoff from Lomax. He drives it to the left side to about the 19-yard line, where it's taken by number 3 for the Warriors. That is Corbin Baxter.
Nice run back by Baxter. A lot of ground covered, but he picked up 25 yards vertically too. So nice run back. Let's see what Coach Coley has in mind here in the second half. I think you're going to see a few more passing attempts.
I think you're going to have to, but unfortunately, from what I've seen in the secondary for the Hampton Crabbers, they're not giving up much of anything. Their coverage is like a wet blanket on a cold evening. They're just all over everything here.
Well, and what I think we'll probably, we've talked about who's going to step in. I think you're going to see Wilson and Moore and some of these guys come out at some point in the second half. So we'll see the next generation of Crabber defense. They seem to be gathering on the sideline, waiting for their chance.
Corbin Baxter to this side of the field. Savage underneath. He gives it to, and that looks like Cannon. He looks like he's okay, and he breaks loose and is corralled at the 45-yard line after about an 8-yard pickup.
That's a nice run by Cannon. Good to see that injury didn't hurt him, but Dante Wilson able to track him down as he's able to track down most anybody. He's
look at that nice
Here he comes. Here he comes. There he goes.
Yeah, I am glad to see those legs working like that. I was really worried about him going into the halftime. Savage brings him out again. Looks like Cannon along with Greg Bennett in the backfield. Looks like they got a slot back there to the left, but they give it to Cannon once again, and he picks up the first down as he goes off the left-hand side.
You see there a little bit of why Cannon does pick up so many yards. You saw just a bit of hesitation to let that hole develop where he could shoot up inside and pick up the first down. All important first down for the Warriors. Yeah, I know they want to hang a touchdown on the Crabbers, something terrible. 5th first down for the Warriors. Thank you, Brent Musgrove, for that, because that shows you the frustration they've had offensively tonight.
Savage again, Cannon again, up the middle again, a couple of yards again.
Interesting line that time. It looked like they were almost at an angle. See it here. See that kind of a different look. A little lopsided front line, and just throwing a couple different looks at the Crabber defense.
Yeah, and they're going with a little slot back there to the upper left side, what we used to call a blocking back when I was a kid. Now the slot comes to the right side with the split end down low, 2 runners in the back.
Bennett there in the fullback spot.
Once again, Cannon, this time he slips, and he's going to get back not quite to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose about a yard on that play.
And that hurts his leg, too. I saw him grimace as he went backwards on that. And he's getting beat up a little bit tonight. And at that time, the field got him. He slipped, and if you ever done that at home, it can hurt you.
I try not to do that at home at my age anymore.
You can't get up after that.
Help, I've fallen and I can't get up. You know how it goes. Number 11, quarterback, Desmond Savage. He's back to pass this time. He doesn't have anybody open. He's going to take it himself up the middle. He'll get the first down as he slides across the 30.
He's got a good sense of where the first down marker is. That's the second time he's gotten just enough yards for the first down and slid, trying to save himself a little bit.
Young kids show some good sense every now and then.
Yeah, well, this one is showing a lot of good sense tonight, and I thought they'd try to show off his arm a little bit because he's shown the skill at passing. Let's see if they can try to break this streak that Crabber defense has enjoyed.
Well, as long as they keep moving the ball downfield like they're going, they're doing okay. The slot back comes to this side again. A quick snap. They'll give it to Cannon again up the middle. He's not going anywhere, but he's fighting and fighting. The ball comes loose.
Crabber's got the ball in his hand, but I think they blew the whistle before the ball popped out.
I was pretty sure they had, but wanted to make sure before I said anything.
Another good run by Cannon.
About 3 yards, 2nd and 7 here with 7 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the third quarter here at Darling Stadium. Savage will lead him up to the line again. The Kecoughtan Warriors moving forward on this drive. Stacked back, and then we got a little flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense.
I don't know, that may have been on the center. Umpire saw that one.
I didn't see it.
I think that may have been on the center. The umpire dropped his flag on that. He was looking right in at the ball. So the Warriors put a dent in their initial drive here.
Nice shot of the football in the field there. We got some great cameramen with some
really
neat ideas.
Really do.
It'll be 2nd down and 12 now for the Kecoughtan Warriors out of the I formation with 2 receivers down toward this end of the field. Savage, whoa! Savage wanted to put that one up, and number 62.
Troy Garrett coming around the end, and that time the new fullback, Greg Bennett, I don't know if he knew what to do with the big lineman. That was the Olay block, and
gracious.
Unfortunately, his quarterback just happened to be in the lane that Garrett chose to go around the block.
Savage had no chance to do anything with that ball.
There's the drive. It's now gone backwards by 12 yards, close to 15 yards in the last 2 plays. 3rd and long now.
Looks like we'll have a timeout by the Warriors. 35-0, the Hampton High Crabbers over the Kecoughtan High Warriors with 5:55 left in the third quarter. Kecoughtan looked like they were to start a positive drive here in the third quarter as they moved down the field. And then all of a sudden, a couple of penalties and some sacks in the backfield, and the Warriors are looking at long yardage, 3rd and 20 here.
You mentioned it's third quarter. The second half of tonight's game sponsored by Eric Thompson, the realtor. Contact Eric to buy or sell a home or property. Give Eric a call at 685-3172. 685-3172. Eric Thompson, realtor. Also the third quarter sponsored by my law firm, Kaufman & Knowles, with offices in Hampton on Cunningham Drive across from Peninsula Town Center, and in Newport News at City Center. Kaufman & Knowles, we can and we will. Also, the whole game, of course, sponsored by the Grey Goose. Thank goodness the food tonight was excellent. Grey Goose, Dana Epstein and her crew down there on West Queensway in Hampton. Also, Smith Brothers Funeral Home in Hampton. And Tidewater Team Sports. Thanks to all our sponsors.
Ooh, once again, Savage is pressed real hard in the backfield. He's going to try and scramble for some yardage. He gets back, and he gets very near the 30-yard line. But we do have a flag.
Yeah, the hold in there. The line was asked to hold the line a little long that time, and they literally did. They followed instructions.
You see it on the replay
Holes there
here.
on the far right. Yeah, I'm down there on Joe Mel Red, I think, Hale, number 75.
On the offense, 10 yards from point of infraction. Replay the down.
Cannon now with 20 carries, 58 yards, and I don't know if that's his fewest yards he's had in a game so far. Again, he came in tonight with 1,200 and some yards.
Did you hear that, Bob Hintz? How many yards was it now?
20 carries, 58 yards.
20 carries, 58 yards for Cannon.
Just under 3 yards a carry for Cannon. Cannon comes in tonight with an average of 7.2 yards.
All right, guys, you're right, but you know they're watching Cannon. He gets the ball, somebody's gonna get him.
Yep.
They're just not letting him have any free reign. They're not letting him get outside, trying to take it inside, and you got to be tough to go against that Crabber offensive line.
And once again, that Crabber secondary doing a wonderful job in the backfield, as Savage had nobody to throw to, and it looks like they're trying to say it was an interception.
I think it was. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. He had nobody to throw it to. That Crabber secondary, again, was just all over everybody, and there were about 4 or 5 guys out there for the Warriors, and you can see Savage having problems, and he's almost sacked, and he throws it into triple coverage and is intercepted as there were 5 Crabbers around that area.
Well, great catch down there. I didn't catch the number, but he caught the ball. Young man made a nice catch on the interception.
There's the Crabbers sideline as the Crabbers now come out.
That was Malik Brown, I think, on the interception. The big number 55. Yes, it was.
Malik Brown got that one? Good job. Comes the blitz from the Warriors. They almost get Newsome. He rolls out to the side. He's got a little bit of room, and he's going to pick up some good yardage as he gets down to the Warriors' 48-yard line.
Well, that's the example of what happens when you pick up the blitz.
Yeah, and if they do the replay, I want you to spot the people that block that you saw there.
That's a couple times they blitzed. It's the first time I think they blitzed 2, but here they come with 2, and then if the ball had gone to Hale, they had him dead to right. But Newsome sees a blitz coming, just turns and runs the other way, picks up 12 yards.
Yeah, what a great block by Newsome as he just took that blitzing backer and put him out.
Wallace Dumas with a nice tackle for the Warriors.
Draw this time to Hale again, I believe.
I think it's Demetrius Strickland that time.
He's in now.
Strickland and Joe Addison at quarterback. We thought we'd see Joe before the game was over. Joe Addison now, the sophomore in, 5'6", 158-pound quarterback, wearing number 8.
All right, let's make some changes here.
And the running back, Demetrius Strickland, a 9th grader, 5'6", 148-pounder, carried the ball that time. So starting to see some changes from the Crabbers. Running clock. Same front line to give those running backs a chance. Almost a escape there. That time 31. That's
Greg
Roscoe
Bennett.
Hale back in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Here he comes here now. He escapes one, couldn't get away from the second. The one escape there. Almost caught himself. But Kecoughtan's number 32, Sean Lynch, able to pull him down.
What number was Demetrius Strickland?
Strickland wears number 22.
22. And who's back there with him?
Well, that's Hale on the right.
Hale.
It looks like Hale in the carry. We'll see.
Yep. Look at this. Look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching something tonight. This is just amazing as Roscoe Hale has his coming out party tonight.
A flag down back here on the 22-yard line. Looks like a hold. Hale carries the ball. We'll see if we can pick it up. Watch it right on the 22. The Hale may have, the hold, I believe, was right there on the receiver, number 9, Umar Muhammad White, I think, got called for the hold. He was holding his block a long time.
Holding on offense, 10 yards, point of infraction, replay, first down.
So the ball's going to start at the 22 and come back 10 yards, giving Hale a net run of about 5.
Still
maybe
positive
4.
yards.
Yep, 4 yards. Well, the hold was so far downfield. So Hale gets credit for 4. Addison under center now.
Here comes the blitz again. Addison goes back, and they've got a whistle.
Prior to snap, encroachment, defense.
Little too soon that time by the Warriors.
Blitz came a little early. It's going to run out of the third quarter, Paul.
And at the end of the third quarter.
And at the end of the third.
That is not in the third quarter. We have an accepted penalty. We have 1 untimed down.
There you go.
All right, we're not in the third quarter, and they're going to put the Crabbers back out on the field.
And they're going to get 1 play.
And it's interesting with the running clock. That's a running clock rule, I guess. When the clock running, you would think that it would go ahead and call the quarter, but with the penalty, which normally would have stopped the clock, they're going to have an untimed play here at the end of the third quarter. No points yet for the Crabbers here in the third quarter. They had a very quick quarter with the running clock.
1st and 5. I think I'd just dump one into the end zone, see what happens. Take a shot.
Well, Addison's got the big line in front of him. Let's see what he can do. Quillen left. Umar Muhammad White right for the Crabbers. Looks like Keontae Johnson in the slot right.
In motion and movement all over the line.
Prior to snap, false start, offense.
That's 2 of them move. That may be 10 yards. And 2 of them jumped that time. That's just the new quarterback in trying to get the cadence down right with the line that had been out there with Newsom all night.
Yeah, you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, wholesale changes on the Crabbers here. Getting some playing time for these young kids.
I know Addison appreciates having the starting line in front of him. Gives him a chance to show off his arm.
Oh, yeah. And I think you'll see it right here. He's in the shotgun formation. 2 receivers to the top of the screen, 2 to the bottom, 1 in motion going to the top. We have 3 receivers out there, and he gives the ball to the running back. That is Strickland, number 22, Demetrius Strickland.
Strickland just a 9th grader. So your question there before we came into this quarter was who's going to take over? Well, you're starting to see a few of the names here. The Crabbers, they get to show off of some of their younger stars, future stars.
Well, the way the defense has played tonight, you give these kids all sorts of starts on the offense to see what they can do. And,
they want to, you know, first of all, they've had a good offensive ball game. So, you know, I think Mike Smith's going to be very pleased with his blocking. He's going to be very pleased with his tackling, very pleased with his secondary, very pleased with his quarterback play. So, you know, he's seen the 3 quarters of the offense. He's seen some really good play. I think now he's going to see some guys, because you go in the playoffs against some of these teams, somebody gets hurt, you got to have some backup. And this is a good time to see that. For Kecoughtan, I think we're going to see a few new faces as well here in the 4th quarter. I think he's going to keep Savage in, though. He wants to see what that quarterback can do. I'd like to see him let him loose, let him throw.
He's just a freshman, so I agree with you on that. Let him run through a game like this. He's going to have to learn to face games like this and do something positive in it. Take something positive home tonight when he goes home from this game. He's just a freshman. He's got 3 more years. This is a learning experience, a new coach. It's just a great place for him to be in right now. There's some of the Crabbers along the sideline talking about this game. Crabbers now going from left to right. They flip it to...
Nice job,
It's Roscoe Hale. Roscoe looking, it looks like to me he could throw out a dash line there and try to wait for it to land so he could run along the path. He was truly looking for the hole.
Yes, he was.
And my goodness, he picked up some yards. I don't know how many yards he's got total. Maybe Mr. Musgrove knows that for us, because
watch him as he looks. Look at him looking for those holes, dodging, darting.
142 yards so far for Roscoe Hale. Nice night for if you can get it. Yeah.
I tell you what, I've been impressed with him and that kid from Phoebus Lane. They've both done great jobs. Here's number 22, Demetrius Strickland. He's got an opening. He busts over a couple of runners. Look at that. He gets hit 5 yards before he finally falls down off that left side. Strickland, another young running back.
Got a little help. Well, Strickland is a freshman.
Very quick.
Demetrius Strickland, 5'6", 148-pounder, and showed his quickness there. Then it looked like the tackler picked him up and moved him 2 yards closer to the goal as well.
Yeah, we were told at the beginning of the year that this Demetrius Strickland is going to be a good little running back with a lot of quickness to him.
And here comes Dion Newsome in the game in the receiver spot here on the right.
Well, he's been there many, many times before. Addison under center. He comes back. It's going to be a lateral to Newsome, and Newsome gets loose on the right-hand side, and he's going to be in for the touchdown. And that's why they brought him in there. He's played that position before. He's not a stranger to receiving the ball. He gets the lateral pass in the backfield and just takes it right to the house.
Well, Kecoughtan knew it was coming, and he couldn't do anything about it. It's a nice pass by Addison. A little lateral back to Newsome. He slips a couple tackles. In fact, the Kecoughtan guys tackled themselves that time, and one pulled the other off. Newsome, who you really got to wrap up, as we've seen many times tonight, many times over the past few years.
And how's that for Addison to be able to go in there and throw a touchdown pass to your starting quarterback?
That's he's got to feel mighty good for the sophomore.
Yeah. Bo Lomax. Bolo in for the point after. Yeah, we've got a whistle down there as we get a great shot between the cheerleaders' arms. That's got to be Bagoli down there, doesn't it?
Encroachment on the defense.
The goalie between the cheerleaders' arms, or is it okay? He's doing a nice job for us. Randy Bagoli and Steve Fryer down on the ground. Wube Gabre and Susan Bowers up here on the shots from up top.
Once again, Lomax ready for the point after. The snap is up. It's down. The kick is up. And it is.
Blue, no, it's
prior snap, false start, offense.
Bo's going to kick this thing 3 or 4 times before he get it to stick. Tyquan Wilkins going to pick his marker up and come back 5 yards.
Yeah, I think with Bo's leg, he's not really concerned how far they take him back there. I saw him earlier tonight just kicking 40 yards easily. And he's only doing this one about, what, 25?
What a find by Coach Smith. This is an August addition to the roster.
And such a nice guy. That's the nice part about it. Here it is again. It's up, and look at this. It's good.
Well, he continues to extend his lead in the points for the kickers in the Peninsula District.
10:27 left here in the game at Darling Stadium on Friday, October the 26th, 2012. And with the extra point after Newsome's run into the end zone with a lateral, the score, the Hampton Crabbers 42, the Kecoughtan High School Warriors 0. And this score, Frank, right now is very reminiscent of the last 4 games the Crabbers have played.
Well, the Crabbers have put it on everybody in the last few weeks. It's the last 4 games: 42-0 over Denby, 60-0 over Gloucester, 41-0 over Warwick, and 64-0 over Mitchville. And so the Crabbers are feeling it a little bit in the last month and a half. The last time they were scored on was Woodside on September 21st. Woodside got 20 off them, got beat 42-20. Woodside having a little bit of a down year this year. Not sure they're going to make the playoffs for the first time in a number of years. Kecoughtan has not made the playoffs in 10 years. This is, I'm sure, disappointing to Coach Coley and his staff, but I think he's seen some promising pieces of a team in the future, and even on a night like tonight, I'm sure he's going to be pleased with some things.
Oh, there's no question about that. He's got a lot of good young talent. Lomax with the kickoff will be fielded at the 23-yard line by Lawrence. He's hit at the 30 and bounced back. We'll have to see where they mark his forward motion.
Now Dante Wilson still in the game for the Crabbers. Daquan Moore. And I think Coach Mike Smith is going to try to hold that scoreless streak. Yeah, Lawrence Williams didn't.
Ran into his own man
there. Well, things just aren't going Kecoughtan's way tonight. They can commiserate with the Detroit Tigers, who are having the same problem in the World Series.
Oh, my gosh. Let's not even get started on that.
Daquan Moore has come out of the game. I'm going to say it's the first time I've seen him out on defense since 2009.
Desmond Savage leading the Warriors up to the line of scrimmage, and he gives it to number 24, who loses the ball, and that's Tony Late. Leite. Sorry for the pronunciation. It's either Tony Light, or Tony Leite.
Tony dropped that one. That's first attempted carry by him. First handoff just wasn't clean.
Yep.
Ball down.
Misexchange there, and it bounces around before the Crabbers pick it up, and they'll take over again, and they'll have first down at the Warriors' 34-yard line here. Under 9 minutes to go at Darling Stadium. You're watching LSC on Cox Channel 48 and Verizon Fios Channel 23 as we bring you the Hampton High School, Kecoughtan High School football game from the Peninsula District as we see one of the trainers working on one of the players there.
Looks like we're going to see a little bit of a new quarterback. Brian Hart has come on for the Crabbers. Sophomore, 5'9", 180 pounds, wearing number 15. I saw him run out there. And looks like he's going to get a few snaps here for Coach Smith.
Brian Hart, 5'9", 180, a sophomore.
Coach Smith getting a chance to look at a few of his backup quarterbacks. And we know with a quarterback like Newsom, who's, again, hard to hit, but when you're playing big teams in the playoffs, you got to be prepared. If Newsom gets a cramp or goes down with an injury, you got to have some back guys. Addison looked like he was handling it pretty well. Now he's going to let Brian Hart take a stab at it.
Yep. And not only that, Newsom's not going to be there forever. He's only got a few more games to go, and they're going to need somebody else to take over that spot.
Nice to have a couple sophomores that are able to step in. Well, Javalis Tony in at fullback for the Crabbers. Tony getting a chance to come in and block a few.
See if I can pick these numbers up here. Oh, there's another fumble.
That's Demetrius Strickland, the freshman. The handoff never really occurred.
But again, ladies and gentlemen, as Frank was telling you, that kind of stuff happens when you have a new quarterback or you have a different quarterback and a different running back who don't work that often together. The timing is everything. The starters work in practice day after day after day after day after day.
They just switch quarterback. Addison back in. He's going to get a play. So Addison and Hart will take turns here on this drive. Again, Tony at the fullback.
Tony's number is what?
20.
Number 20.
Javalis Tony. You get to see a little bit of running here.
Not a bad pickup
Addison,
right there. It was Addison.
No, picked up 7. So some fresh faces for the Crabbers. Continuing their offensive dominance tonight. Here he comes, rolling out, looking for a pass that's not there. So he tucks it in and runs. Smart play.
And I'm not sure he was really looking for someone that was there. All right, so let's see. We got Addison at quarterback.
A new front line in front of Joe Addison.
Addison drops back. He gives it to number 22, Demetrius Strickland, and he's finding an opening, and he's going to go to the touchdown.
My goodness. Well, that's, good running back. Despite being only a 9th grader, we've seen a lot of quickness out of him. In fact, he got a couple carries early on in the year, especially when Marshawn Lynch was out. But here you see, look at the block there on the left. My goodness.
That's a touchdown
See
by
that again.
Another different running back.
Right. Fourth different man to score a touchdown tonight for the Crabbers.
The Crabbers have simply spread out their scoring all over the field tonight as they lead 48-0, and the extra point is going to make it 49-0 with 7 minutes and 9 seconds left in the game at Darling Stadium. And that was, let's see, we've had touchdowns by Newsom, Williams, Hale, Strickland, anybody else? We've had touchdowns by 4 different people. Let me check with Brent. Brent, 4 different people touchdowns tonight for the Crabbers. Four different people with touchdowns tonight. Talk about spreading out your offense. Bob, are you there?
I'm here, fellas.
We just made a little note here. 4 different people have scored for the Crabbers tonight from the running back and quarterback position.
Well, you got so many new numbers out there. I don't know who they all are. But
Neither do we.
I want to tell you something. These guys are quick now. I'm not sure which one, but when I was talking to the AD Phil, he was telling me about one of these running backs, and I think it was number 31, the Hale.
Greg Bennett, number 31.
Bennett runs on the 4x4 and 100.
Oh, wait a minute.
So they got some sprinters out here too, guys.
No, I'm sorry. Bennett was Kecoughtan. Roscoe Hale is 31.
That's Lawrence Williams that time with the run back. He's getting a lot of work there. We were looking at some stats for Deion Newsome. 85 yards rushing on 6 carries, 1 reception, 3 touchdowns for Deion Newsome tonight. Good night for him. He continues to be one of the leading, if not the leading quarterback in the district this year. Certainly the most consistent.
And most people don't consider him a true quarterback. He's just a great athlete.
Crabber shuffling players on and off.
Savage still a quarterback for the Warriors. He'll give it to number 24. But there's a whistle on the play. Tony Late or Late or... Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that last name. L-E-I-T-E. There's several different ways you could pronounce it.
The young men we're going to see
Dead
next
ball,
year.
illegal substitution on the offense, 5 yards.
That was very closely. That was on the Warriors that time. They had a pretty clean game. They had a couple penalties, but nothing. They haven't had too many tonight. Both teams playing penalty-free football for the most part.
Really has been a pretty good penalty-free. Except for that one stretch there where we had a bunch of them.
Substitution for the Crabber. Joe Mel Red comes out.
Timeout. Kecoughtan.
Yeah, 7 penalties on Kecoughtan, 60 yards, which, to be honest, some of the nights we've seen this year, that's pretty mild. Those are mostly 5-yarders, and then they had that one hold, the hold that was way back and pushed them back even further. So,
but I'm still surprised there were 7 penalties. You're sure of that, right? I'm shocked that there were 7 penalties on them. Yeah.
Brent Musgrove keeping track of our penalties tonight. Sure appreciate him. Got a good crew helping us out here tonight.
A couple in there, but just didn't seem like they had that many of them so far. Wow.
Time here. The clock is stopping the timeout.
But there is only 5 minutes and 39 seconds, and we need to start thinking about a player of the game here for the Warriors and for the Crabbers.
Only Late up the middle that time, able to hang on the ball.
Hampton with 5 penalties for 30 yards.
So time running down here. Let me go through our great crews help bring us this game tonight. Of course, on the camera, Susan Bowers and Wube Gabray, Randy Bagoli, and Steve Fryer. On the graphics and animation, Andy Foley. Slow motion instant replay is Krista Campbell. Camera control operator, Renee Camden. Our chief engineer, Don Scharouse. Our audio engineer, Greg Lesko. The director and producer tonight, Don Scharouse. And announcers, of course, Bob Hance down the field, Brent Musgrove here in the booth, and this is Frank Edgar along with Paul Rowe. Glad you could be with us on this Friday evening, late in October.
Savage once again.
False start, offense, replay the down.
Savage with the toss out to number 24, Tony Late. Tony Late. Of course, penalty on the play.
Tough choices tonight, Paul, on our players of the game. I think for Hampton, we're probably in agreement.
Hampton's no problem at all. Yeah.
A couple of choices for Hampton. Marshawn Williams played well, had his first big touchdown run. He was up at 100 yards. Deion Newsome played extremely well, 3 touchdowns on his reception. He carried the ball, he threw the ball, did a little bit of everything. And then Roscoe Hale with just a monster night for the youngster.
Tony Lete with the pitch gets an opening, and he'll bring it back past the original first down marker. He'll get to about the 44-yard line.
Pick up there. We've seen a lot of new guys. That's 61 Malik Jenkins coming in as a 9th grader for the Crabbers. 202 pounds, 6'1" in 9th grade.
And when you're talking about players of the game, excuse me, if we could, that defensive line for the Crabbers and the offensive line for the Crabbers both have just played an outstanding game.
Well, if you're going to go with an offensive lineman, Jamonte Spriggs played extremely well in the first half, and of course the second half was all under the running clock. So I thought Spriggs was playing well, but I'd have to go with Hale tonight as the star.
From the shotgun formation, Savage tosses it out to number 25, Elijah White of the Warriors, and he's not going anywhere as he slips and is brought down quickly by the Crabbers defense.
Well, Savage has played very well tonight, given the circumstances. He's been down all night long in the score, and that makes it extremely hard to get your system moving, to be patient. They've trailed the whole game. They're not able to, not able to do much. But I think what Savage has done tonight, from as a quarterback and as a ninth grader, certainly warrants a discussion.
Hey, don't you jump.
Less than 3 minutes in punt formation for the Warriors, and he drops the punt, and the Crabbers are going to take the ball right there as they recover it at the 31-yard line with 2 minutes and 23 seconds to go in the fourth quarter as the clock continues to run here at Darling Stadium on Friday, October the 26th, 2012.
Wesley Walker got that. I want to say that. Wesley Walker in the game, a senior at Hampton High, got that and literally took the ball right away from the punter.
All right, we're going to have to come up with somebody for Kecoughtan. I agree on our Hampton player with no question at all coming out for him. But Kecoughtan, we got to come up with somebody. And
Desmond Savage played well.
Yeah.
You know, and for what he had to do tonight, what he could work with, I think he played pretty well.
So,
you know, between him and Samir Sargent, who I thought played well, especially in the first half, really not a factor in the second. I'll leave it up to you.
It's your call.
All right, well, let's go with Sargent. And the reason I say that is I feel like I owe him run for last year. Plus, he played well. He was, I think you called it, middle of the second quarter. He said he was on both sides of the ball. He was everywhere first half. Second half, you really can't judge anything. But I thought Samir Sargent, who we mentioned pregame, has had a good ball game. A senior, 5'11", 250-pounder, number 50 for the Warriors, and has been a Warrior tonight. Been a Warrior his whole career.
I like the way you said that. And for the Hampton High School Crabbers, Frank?
Roscoe Hale, I mean, my goodness. Surprised he doesn't run back to the school tonight. He doesn't need a bus. And he has had one whale of a game back there, getting the start behind Marshawn Williams. It's a nice place to be, but I'm sure Marshawn Williams will be the first guy to thank Hale for coming on the scene tonight. I got to give credit to that front line of the Crabbers. They pushed the Kecoughtan line around, and that's not an easy thing to do. But again, Spriggs down on his end, Dante Wilson at the center, Troy Garrett, Jeffrey Speller, Arrington Bazemore, all played extremely well for the Crabbers front line tonight.
All right, so Roscoe Hale of the Hampton Crabbers and Samir Sargent for the Kecoughtan Warriors. Bob Hintz, as the clock winds down to 20 seconds. Any comments on our players of the game?
Proud snap.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad you got the Sargent guy, a young man from Kecoughtan. He has been a player for the Warriors for many years, and they've just done a great job. And first half, he did it as good as anybody out there. You know, you can't go wrong with the Hale kid. Man, what a game.
Yeah, it's the ball game as the running clock runs out while they're marking off the penalty. Crabbers win this one 49-0. That adds a fifth shutout in a row, a fifth game where they're over 40 points. They are peaking at the right time tonight. Kecoughtan ran into a buzzsaw. Not much that the Warriors could do tonight. You know, level play. I'm sure there's going to be things that Coach Coley is going to like about what he saw tonight, but for the most part, he's going to have to work, and he'll have a chance next week against the Menchville Monarchs. So Kecoughtan will have a chance to end on a winning note and come in and finish with a 500 record here in Coley's first year. And good handshake, good sportsmanship as we see in the Peninsula District. Always good to see. And some of these seniors who have played against each other for 4 years.
What a great game we saw tonight. I know it looks like a lopsided score at 49-0, but some exciting plays all night long. A kind of coming out for number 31, Roscoe Hale of the Kecoughtan Warriors. A great game for Samir Sargent, and a really gutty performance by the young Kecoughtan quarterback, Desmond Savage. However, a 49-0 win is a 49-0 win, any way you put it. Again, as Frank said, the fifth straight shutout for the Hampton Crabbers as they prep for the big game this coming Thursday with the Phoebus Phantoms.
Paul, I understand that game's going to be broadcast right here on HSC 40. I just got a
You
rumor
really
of that.
think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be broadcast here Thursday night. Not Friday night,
But Thursday night.
7 o'clock start. We probably go on air at 6:30.
And, folks, you better come out here early because this game is going to be what did that guy used to call it? A wham, dingly, doodly, whatever it was that he used to.
Donnybrook this year, you're going to see some of the best running backs we've had, and we've had good ones, but you're going to see a big matchup next week.
Think about this. You've got Phoebus with Pittman, and they brought along the new kid Lane. Hampton has Williams, and tonight they unveil Hale. You've got four killer running backs that we're going to see. And the defenses for both teams, oh, Frank, can't tell you how great they are. And the offensive lines, if you're not at this game, you better watch it on LSC.
And, folks, I do hope you come out here and pack Darling Stadium for what promises to be an outstanding game in this 2012 season. Two teams headed to the playoffs, both playing really good football.
And we've enjoyed this game very much as you see the players on the field. And there you see Mrs. Smith in the red jacket. So,
mother of the bride, right?
Mother of the bride as Lee Taylor gets married next week. All right, from Darling Stadium, October the 26th, 2012, you have been watching LSC on Cox Channel 48 and Verizon Fios Channel 23. Danny Mitchell is on the screen. From up in the booth, I'm Paul Roll along with Frank Edgar. Good night, everybody.
Today's game was sponsored by the Grey Goose Restaurant, located on West Queensway in Hampton. Enjoy a wide selection of breakfast and lunch dishes, sure to please your appetite. Follow the Grey Goose Restaurant on Facebook, the restaurant that is also a bakery. Smith Brothers Funeral Home of Hampton is located in Phoebus, has been serving the community since 1862. Smith Brothers are here to serve your needs. The funeral director is Andrew T. Smith, Jr. Tidewater Team Sports, located at 11839B Cannon Boulevard in Oyster Point, Newport News. Tidewater Team Sports is your one-stop sports headquarters for screen printing, embroidery, uniforms, and apparel. Call 594-0411 and talk to David Chubb or Terry McNamara. Today's game was sponsored in part by the attorneys at Kaufman & Knowles, with offices in Hampton on Cunningham Drive across from Peninsula Town Center and in Newport News at City Center. Kaufman & Knowles. We can and we will. Beach Hardware, located at 1951 East Pembroke Avenue in the Buckrow Shopping Center. Beach Hardware is your friendly local hardware store with everything you need to maintain your home inside and out. Eric Thompson Realtor. Contact Eric to buy or sell a home or property. Give Eric a call at 685-3172 or email him at eric@findhrhomes.com.